Okay, hello everybody and welcome to the second day of the Arcadean Grand Global Tournament. 10 million gold, big prize. Who's hyped? I'm hyped. I see we've already got a lot of people here, which is fantastic. Hello all. Nip Nip, buddy, where have you been? We missed you. How's my little chocobo mascot doing? Okay, so as always, we will leave it, we will hang around, chat, get to know each other for 5 minutes whilst everybody settles in. The first fight of the day will be between Neonworks and Kangi, which should be good. In fact, all these fights should be good. Then it's Gamer404 versus Yellow Dragon, then Yaxi versus Veritude, then Snow Leopard versus Jukisha. After that, we will move into the semi-finals and the final. 7 fights all in all. Winner takes 10 million gold. So, let's hear from the chat. Who does everybody think is going to win? We've got a lot of big-name players here. Veritude, of course, was our champion in the last tournament. Kangi was the second place, but we also know all of these other players as well. Jukisha, however, is a bit of a dark horse. We haven't seen him in tournaments before. He's only recently shown up in the Sunday Sub Battle, so... do you think the underdog's going to take it? Or do you think the old champion's going to take it? Or are we going to see an upset? Let me know. Majin says it's Neon versus Kangi. And thinks a Nip Nip sounds so cute. Yep. Mega hype, that's what we like to see. Alex is predicting Yaxi. Alright. Also I should mention, for everybody who wasn't paying attention on the Discord, we will be flipping a coin to see who sends the battle request, because as apparently people are just learning, whoever sends the battle request is the one who starts first. Snow Leopard pointed out to me today that this may unfairly imbalance things, because some players do design their decks in order to take advantage of a first turn start or a second turn start. So flipping a coin, which is a pretty cool coin. Look at this. It's a British 50 pence. Look at it. It's all is it hexagonal? 1, 2, 3, yeah, probably. Hexagonal, octagonal. I don't know, actually. Lukakra, Nick Stalker wasn't participating in the end. No, Nick Stalker had to drop out for personal reasons. He gave his space to the substitute Magnum Opus. I see the OGs are here. Yes, Snip Nip, the OGs are all still here, except for you. Where have you been? We've missed you. I've had to walk everywhere. It's ridiculous. Bring Final Fantasy 15 back. Imagine, think that's octagonal. Yeah, weirdly I'm having difficulty counting number of sides. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wait, when I start here with the Elizabeth, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. It's 7. Appears to be 7 sides. That's weird. Septagonal. All right, never mind. So yes, we will start out with Neon and Kangi. Heptagonal. Wouldn't heptagonal be 6 sides? Septagonal is 7, isn't it? Heptagonal or hexagonal. No, it's hexagonal, isn't it? Heptagonal is a different structure. Heptagonal. Really? I thought it was septagonal. Hextagonal for 6 and septagonal for 7, isn't it? Or am I wrong? Heptagonal is 7. Learn something new every day. Hex and hept. There you go. Getting a language lesson in Greek. I'm pretty sure. Could be Latin, but I think it's Greek. Arctagonal, says Majin. Yes, that's it. Arctagonal for anything that has any particular shape. Neon thinks it is septagonal. So it's, yes. Everybody look that up and get back to me. Alright, well, we know that in French only, maybe. Maybe. Yeah. I have no idea. Actually, Moss says he was wrong. Okay, odd sides. Hepta is 7 in Greek. Heptagonal is a completely different thing, says Moss. Okay. It's very confusing. The coin is a real MVP, yes. Yes. Like, it even has a picture of actual Britannia on it. Look at that. Isn't that a fantastic looking lady? A heptagon is an n-sided polygon. Okay, that makes more sense. James, hyped! That's what we like to hear, hype. So I know Neon is around. We're just waiting on Kangi, I think. Kalpesh, by any other name. Once he shows up, we will make a start. Hopefully it should be in the next couple of minutes. I know he was very active on the Discord just minutes before the live stream began. And to everyone who's participating today, please make sure that you have your opponent added, as well as ideally the person who you will be facing if you win. So Neon, for example, please add Kangi and also Gamer404 and Yellow Dragon, that kind of thing. Neon Septagon, a polygon with 7 sides and 7 angles. A heptagon. So okay, so it could be the same thing. But I was correct. I wasn't wrong. Anyway, septagon would count. Britannia. Is that a code GS indirect reference? It's not. No, I'm probably code GS or geese, as I think it's pronounced in its original language. Is referencing the actual Britannia, but no, I mean there's an actual is Britannia, as in rule Britannia, Britannia rules the waves, or whatever the hell that stupid song goes. You can say both. Okay, good. Calpesh is here. Excellent, excellent, good. Hail Britannia, season 3 coming out soon of Code GS. Okay, I was right. Yeah. Well, I don't know about. I mean, I think everyone was right. I'm just happy that I wasn't wrong. Kangi has always been your friend. That's so sweet. Heptagon is a shape that has a theoretical number of sides. Cool. Okay, so Calpesh says he's ready to go. Let's make a start then. So, Neon and Kangi, when you are both prepared, please comment in the chat just to let me know. And then I will flip this coin to see who invites whom. Deadpool, otherwise known as Volpe. Welcome. Okay, so the person at the top will always be heads and the person at the bottom will always be tails. So, what do we get? Tails. Okay, Kangi, please send a battle request to Neonworks. Kangi, please send a request to Neon. It's quite fascinating. You lost on the wiki for heptagons. You lost. Yes. Yeah. I think we've all gotten lost in the wiki loop, I suppose. Never ever go onto the wiki and look up like superheroes or something. You will literally be there all day. Everything links to something else. Calpesh, you're up. Good, good. Good, good. I shouldn't put my mouth on. No. The Wikisphere. Yes. Reminds me of the monkey sphere, that psychological experiment that showed that we can only contain empathic feelings towards a limited number of people. It's called the monkey sphere. Anyway. The Wikipedia is also a dangerous place, yes. Alright, let's make a start here then. Neonworks versus Kangi. Good, it did appear, thank goodness for that. Kangi up at the top with the L hero and 1 mutant. Neonworks down the bottom with 3 mutants and the S hero. Kangi opens up with an aggressive flying sword. Neon answers that with a magic missile, taking a slight EXP lead. Let's see how this goes. Kangi aggressive again with the Forest Keeper Imp. An unusual style of play from Kangi. We're used to seeing much more defensive here. But really pulling out the stops against Neonworks. Neon answers with a Holy Missile, and that will take him up to being able to level up to 2. Kangi plays an Elf. Okay, so we've had 3 low chip damage creatures here. Neon chooses to level up. I'm going to take that elf damage and not worry too much about it. Kangi follows suit. The elf damages, which of course deals an extra 1 damage to Neonworks and puts Kangi into a slight EXP lead. Out comes my Natsume, which is quite interesting. Deals 10 damage to that elf, takes him down immediately, and remains on the field. And a mana +1 magic sensing bomb. Interesting play there from Neonworks, locking down the field, protecting his Mai. That will do, what is that, 8? 8 damage, yes. Oh, I was correct. Good. Okay, so Command Hunting comes out. The Magic Sensing Bomb does activate, does 8 damage to Kangi. Mai still dies, of course, but that puts Neon into a slight HP lead. He brings out the Eagle. Eagle, of course, kills the Flying Sword, and it jumps right into the center of the field, which doesn't do Neonworks much good, obviously, because if he has a Command Hunting, it's light, and he doesn't have any light resources. Magic Missile comes out, takes care of that Eagle. Both players not doing fantastically for resources. Kangi, of course, with a slight lead in light there, but just like Neon, 2 low-level resources. So let's see. Kangi decides to level up to 3. And revives from the grave. L's ability, of course, forcing a little bit of damage to come out onto Neonworks as well. But that does leave that 5 damage out onto the field. That is going to take Kangi down to 17 HP. And another Magic Sensing Mana Bomb +1 comes out onto the field. That, of course, is going to do 10. So this is actually going to hurt Kangi a lot if he can't answer this. The Leopard, of course, going to do 5, taking him down to 17. If that Magic Sensing Bomb goes off, that'll take Kangi down to 7. Elf comes out. Another Light Command Hunting +1. He's really not afraid of these magic sensing bombs, takes himself down to 7 HP and kills the Leopard, putting the elf back out onto the, or leaving the elf on the field. Neonworks and Kangi both got an equal amount of resources at this point. Kangi with A battlefield lead, of course, with Elf out onto the field, but with only 7 HP, this could be problematic. Attack Guided Missile comes out. Very interesting. Takes care of that Elf. And Neon plays a light elephant. Okay, not enough to deal fatal damage, but still Kangi obviously has to be very careful about that. Drops a firebolt onto that elephant, not going to take any more risks in terms of HP. And the flying sword comes out onto the field. Neon works his turn again. He doesn't have enough mana to summon that magic sensing bomb +1. But he does, of course, have enough resources to answer that flying sword. If he has the correct cards, of course. But let's find out. Charges up and it goes into light, which may or may not be ideal for him. He discards into mana. And out comes a Firebolt. Okay, so a very aggressive resource play there. Obviously had to use an action to discard a card, which of course increases grave cost on whatever card it was he discarded. Flying Sword comes out from Kangi. Kangi just playing a very, very aggressive chip deck here. The Eagle comes out onto the field, damages that Flying Sword, but doesn't quite kill it, but it does leave the Eagle as a presence onto the field. Neon charges up. Where does it go? It goes into light. Okay, so that helps to balance out the resources. And it looks like he charges up again, and that goes into mana. The Eagle almost certainly not going to survive this, and it's not. Out comes the Magic Missile. That takes care of that Eagle, and Kangi does a double charge. No need to do anything else. And the Flying Sword does 9 damage, 8+1 thanks to S's hero ability. Neon's HP dropping rapidly now, and that revival also hurts, putting both Kangi and Neon down at very low HP values here. The Flying Sword, of course, a big threat, could deal fatal damage quite easily to Neon. He's got to answer that. Let's see how he chooses to do so. Discards into mana, interesting. And drops a attack-guided missile out onto that. Okay, very expensive removal there. The attack-guided missile, of course, costing more. Not dealing... and dealing an awful lot of damage for something really only has 2 HP. Tiger comes out, an aggressive Tiger this time, not a defensive one. You normally see Tiger coming out in front of already placed creatures to drop their attack values. This Tiger, not worrying too much about it, will of course deal fatal damage if Neon can't answer it immediately. Both players very low on resources here. And Neon in a little bit of trouble. Discards into light. And goes for... a Magic Sensing Bomb defensively. Interesting. And plays an elephant. Alright, so if Kangi can't remove that elephant now without killing himself. So, what will he choose to do? He can try to block the elephant, but if Neon can remove whatever he uses to block the elephant, then obviously that's fatal damage. This is an awkward situation for Kangi to find himself in. Let's see. A discard into nature. Another discard into nature. This is going to be very expensive. Out comes the elf. Okay. And drains all the resources right down to 0. The ball is back in Neon's court. If he can remove that elf somehow, then he will win immediately. Unfortunately, with 3, 1, and 1 resources, there aren't an awful lot of options that he has. So let's see. Very, very hyper-aggressive battle, this one. And right down to the wire here. Neon is thinking about it. Obviously, there are no easy options here. And I don't think we've seen much in the way of... yes, he has to discard into gold here. He has to bring something gold out. And he chooses to bring out the Leopard. Okay, so an understandable choice. This could be interesting. Kangi, of course... I think we've seen a light command hunting come out from him before, but maybe not. We might be about to see another Firebolt. Let's see, a discard into mana. Another discard into mana. We can see the Firebolt. Yep, out comes the Firebolt. That lands into the Leopard, and that is going to be game as Tiger lands the finishing blow on Neon Works. Wow, right down to the wire there, both players. Ooh, so close, so close. Very well played to Neon, and congratulations to Kangi, who moves up into the semi-finals. Okay. Let me just get the image for that. Where did I hide these things? Ah, I remember. Okay, so Kangi... congratulations, moves up into the semi-final. So Kangi will be going up against either Yellow Dragon or Gamer404, depending on the next battle. What a great match to open the day, says Siganteng, and I agree. Fantastic fight. Very, very aggressively played on both players' sides there. Excellent. Okay, so next fight is Gamer404 versus Yellow Dragon. When you guys are both ready, please comment in the chat to let me know. And then we will see who goes first. Hold on. Okay, so Gamer404 up at the top, Yellow Dragon down at the bottom. So heads and tails. And it is... Ooh, it's tails again. Okay, so Yellow Dragon. Once you two are ready, please send a battle request to Gamer404. Yellow Dragon, please send a battle request to Gamer404. Very impressive duel. Yeah, it was indeed very impressive. Okay. Oh. Everybody very impressed with that fight, and rightfully so. Very, very bold and aggressive start to the battles today. In before Ox coin is weighed. I did run some test flips with it earlier. It's not. It honestly didn't always come down tails. I promise. Okay. Let's go. Alright, here we go. Gamer404 up at the top with the Izanami hero. Fascinating. And 1 mutant. And Yellow Dragon down at the bottom with the L hero and 3 mutants. Elf comes out and is immediately answered by a heavy offering. As people who watch the live streams will know, Heavy Offering is one of my favorite sort of counter cards. I do really enjoy using that. Yellow Dragon brings out a Black Spirit, playing a very, very aggressive game here, which is immediately answered by Notira's Needle. Gamer404 answering everything that Yellow Dragon brings out for either equal or, kind of better cost in a lot of ways. That Notira's Needle turned out to be a free spell. Flying Sword comes out, so Yellow Dragon playing in much the same way as we saw Kangi play earlier. Will Gamer404 decide to answer that Flying Sword, or will he level up and just take the 4 damage that will income? Because, of course, it's about to drop its attack value. There it goes. He decides to level up, and Yellow Dragon follows suit. The damage goes off, taking Gamer404 down to 26 HP, and giving Yellow Dragon a bit of a XP lead. Gamer404 brings out the Elf in front of the Flying Sword. That was, of course, going to counter it hard, unless Yellow Dragon decides to remove the Elf with a spell. Which he does. Command Hunting comes out, takes care of that Elf. The Flying Sword is going to get its attack damage off. Let's see if Yellow Dragon decides to go defensive here and charge up, or if he wants to really pile on the pressure. He decides to charge, which is the right choice generally to make. You want to maintain your resource advantage as much as you possibly can. There he goes, a little bit of lag there for some reason, and the 4 damage comes out into Gamer. Gamer decides to do a very aggressive counter there with Leopard in front of the Flying Sword and the Black Sheep Pan on the far right-hand side. Let's see. So, Yellow Dragon already used up his Command Hunting. He's not going to want to do that again, but he is going to bring out the Firebolt, taking down the Leopard and freeing up the space in front of the Flying Sword. He really just wants that 4 damage coming out, which is understandable. 4 damage at level 2, very, very powerful. Well, at any level, really, at level 1 or level 2. It really adds up over time. Gamer404 beginning to drag behind a little bit in HP, but brings out the Skeleton Knight, and that is going to cause a bit of a problem for that Flying Sword. That may finally be the end of that Flying Sword's shenanigans, because of course you'd need to remove that Skeleton Knight twice, which he does kind of go for. The Skeleton Knight dies, becomes a skeleton, and Yellow Dragon decides to level up. The Flying Sword deals some damage to the skeleton, but doesn't quite kill it, of course. Gamer404 follows with the level up, and performs a charge, which of course deals 3 damage and takes care of that Flying Sword, allowing 7 damage to come out, taking Yellow Dragon down to 24 HP. Izanami, now that she's up at level 3, is going to cause some problems to Yellow Dragon with these 3 damage per charge. Lynn comes out, that's going to take care of that skeleton. The Cocoon, of course, snagging the Lorna. Gamer404 would almost certainly prefer it if it had been the other way around, but so it goes. Vampire comes out, going to drain the HP off the Lorna, and we're going to see a charge, 1 charge, which goes into the Cocoon. We're going to see another one, We Are, which again goes into the Cocoon, and the Black Sheep Pan gets 1 HP damage off. Now, of course, every time Izanami's ability activates, it does drain Gamer404's HP by 1, so he can't do it incessantly. But nevertheless, without any more creatures on the field, Gamer404 can charge up twice next turn and kill both, 3 times rather next turn, and kill both Lynn and the Cocoon with those abilities. So Lynn gets her attack off, that's 7 damage charge to kill the Cocoon. 2 more charges, of course, will kill that Lynn, unless she gets a very lucky defense roll. But Game of 404 may decide that it's not worthwhile, and he does. Tsubaki comes out in front of that Lin, and the Dragon's Guardian on the far left-hand side. So no further charges. He's going to let the Tsubaki take the damage off Lin. Yellow Dragon rather revives, which of course hurts both players because he's using the L hero. Command Hunting comes out once again, deals with that Tsubaki. Tsubaki's ability activates, but of course does not kill that Lin, and that is going to take Gamer 404 down to 1 HP, thanks to that Lin's big abilities. Yellow Dragon charges up, and it goes into light, so that balances out quite nicely for him. Gamer 404 down at 1 HP now. Charges up, deals a little bit of damage to Lin. Will he go for a second charge to kill her? He does. At 1 HP, there's no disadvantage to using Izanami's ability. You might as well just charge up, get the resources, and murder people on the field. That's 8 damage comes out now onto Yellow Dragon, and he has to immediately answer this. Otherwise, he's in a lot of trouble. But, of course, if he plays a creature with 9 or less HP, that's not going to work. Cocoon Trap comes out. That's going to snag that Lorna. If he doesn't play any more creatures, this is going to be very problematic for him. Bluesy Floozy comes out onto the field, drops an air bomb, and goes in front of Dragon's Guardian. Now, this is, of course, a big problem because now Game of 404 can't use any attack spells. Can't use any spells, rather. Otherwise, the air bomb will activate and kill him. And can't kill the Bluesy Floozy either. Big problem here. Skeleton Knight coming out on the far right-hand side. Game of 404 charges up. And will he charge up again, or was he going to decide to play another creature? No, he charges up again and it does go into the Cocoon. The Dragon's Guardian lands damage onto the Bluesy Floozy. That actually worked out quite well for Gamer 404 there. Now, Yellow Dragon, of course, needs to answer that Skeleton Knight. Otherwise, big problems incoming. But he can't really afford to do so with a creature because Game 404, of course, does have the resources to remove any creature played in front of it, potentially, depending on the cards he has in hand. Whew, exciting! A discard into light. And what are we about to see? We're about to see a Holy Missile come out. Oh, nicely played. That Holy Missile, of course, takes out the creature. Bluesy Floozy is opened up for fatal damage and manages to land the finishing blow onto Gamer 404. So well played to Gamer 404, and congratulations to Yellow Dragon there. Going up against that Izanami that actually did a surprising amount of work there. But well done to Yellow Dragon for moving up. And well played to Gamer 404, especially for that Izanami hero. It's always nice to see her being used. Let's see now. There we go. All right, so the semifinals, the first semifinals fight. Ooh, if I can get that position correctly. There we go. The first, that's not even remotely correctly. That's much better. The first semifinals fight will be between Kangi and Yellow Dragon, so you two please make sure that you have each other added. Next up is going to be Yaxi versus Veritude. Veritude, of course, being the champion from the last tournament. So let's see how this goes. Yaxi and Veritude, when you guys are ready, please let me know in chat, and let's flip this coin. Hoopla doopla. Okay, it is... Sorry. It would help if... Oh, there's this coin! Let's flip that again. It would help if I actually showed you the coin, wouldn't it? It is... Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, never mind. It fell down. But here we go again. It's heads this time. Congratulations. All right. Actually, let's see if we can actually get this on camera. Because it feels like I'm cheating. Nope, that didn't flip. There we go. There we go. Okay. Another intense game, really heavyweight contenders. Yes. Okay, so, coin... Yes. Alright, so, Yaxi, please send a battle request to Veritude. Thank you. And I just realized I'm actually going to be behind these, so I'm going to move that webcam up a little bit. There we go, that's better. Okay, so yes, what was it? It was heads. So, Yaxi, please send a battle request to Veritude. Yes, just for the quarterfinals. Just for the quarterfinals. Pinoys? Is that how you pronounce that? Filipinos. For the quarterfinals, we'll take finals next tournament. Yes. Yes. Yaxi versus Veritude. Okay. So I don't see Veritude online right now. Let's see. Of course, we are running timeout disqualification rules. So if I don't hear from either Yaxi or Veritude in the next 10 minutes, we will have to Disqualify one or both of them. I mean, whoever wins between Snow Leopard and Jukisha may get a direct jump into the finals if both Yaxi and Veritude aren't around. Samurai Quack. I will keep an eye on the list here, though. If anybody is in personal touch with Veritude or Yaxi, do please get in touch with them. I'm keeping an eye on the Discord just in case, but I'm not seeing any notifications. But I don't see either Yaxi or Veritude on the Discord thing at the moment. But I know it is the right pronunciation. Good, thank you, Neil. Quack. It's a weird way of spelling quack, Tuba, but yes, thank you. And yes, if Yaxi and Veritude get disqualified, that would be nuts. Moth. But you know. So it goes, really. If neither one of them shows up in the next 5 minutes now, actually, they'll be disqualified. Oh. So yes, if anybody's in personal contact with them, please do get in touch immediately with them as quickly as possible, because they have about 5 minutes to make it online. Hello Galliomir, welcome to the stream. You're just in time to see potentially 2 players getting disqualified. Which would be insane. But funny. That'd suck. Yeah, it would suck because obviously, you know, it'd be really good to see a fight between Yaxi and Veritude, both very good players, both veteran players, and of course Veritude being our champion from the last tournament. So it would be a shame if he got disqualified by timeout. That would suck. But they're both aware of the tournament times. We were very clear yesterday. They both fought yesterday, so they know what the times are. Margin, is it bad if we just move to Snow Leopard and Juke if both aren't here? It's not terrible, but we will. We could do Jukisha and Snow Leopards to wait for Tax versus Yax, but yes. Well, I mean, okay, Gallimir, you'll look for Yaxi, you guys are friends, that's good, alright. Well, okay, alright, since the chat seems to be in favor of this, we will break the rules a little bit here, because yesterday we were very strict about it, because there were 24 people, so it was 16 fights. So we didn't have any time, but today we do have a little bit of time. So yeah, we will give them another 3 minutes. If they haven't shown up, then we'll move on to Snow Leopard and Jukisha. And then if they still haven't turned up by the time we're done with the Jukisha and Snow Leopard fight, then we will just have to declare them disqualified. So just to make sure, Jukisha and Snow Leopard, are you guys ready? Will you be able to fight in 3 minutes? Nix, hello, welcome to the stream. We're currently searching for Yaxi and Veritude, who appear to be missing in action. But yes, if Snow Leopard and Jukisha are actually ready, then we can move on to them in 2 minutes instead. Snow Leopard, you sent the friend request to Jukisha, but Jukisha didn't accept it. Is he not online? He doesn't seem to be online right now. Let's do the other match first, yeah. 2 players who lose before give them a chance again. Well, no, that would require a big shuffle. Yeah, Jukisha is actually offline right now, which is a shame. So we'll move on to Snow Leopard and Jukisha if Jukisha happens to turn up. But it may be that we have 3 AWOL players, which would suck. But if we can at least get either Yaxi or Veritude in, then we can disqualify the other 2 if they go over time, and Snow Leopard can fight whichever of the 3 happens to actually be around. Obviously, they're not that into the 10 million golds. They're not materialistic people. Maybe they are off rubbing a Buddha's belly, just getting in touch with themselves, sloughing off the trammels of civilization. The Cockcracken grabs something. Can I disqualify everyone on the right side, and Yellow Dragon and Kangi moves into the finals? No. It's quite a problem if we have 3 players missing. If we have 3 players missing, it's unfortunate, but we'll just move Snow Leopard up into the finals, so we'll just have to. Did someone say sloth? I have no idea. Maud Seifel, newbie here. Welcome to the stream. Veritude doesn't care about his champion title, it seems. Yes, he has nothing left to prove. Unfortunately, we already used up our substitutes earlier because a few people had to jump. Slothing around. Was that a dig? No, sloughing. Slough. S-L-O-U-G-H. Sloughing. Not slothing. If you slough something off, it means to like sort of like shrug it off or shake it off. Yeah, it's not slothing off. No, that would be weird. Alright. Well, so far no sign of either Yaxi or of Veritude or of Jukisha. So this is, yeah, not great. 3 people from the right-hand side. The only one who's actually shown up is Snow Leopard. This is not very professional, people. You think we should wait? Alright. Okay, I'll tell you what. Because we've just reached the left-hand side of the finals, we can basically we'll delay for a little while longer on the right-hand side. So while we are delaying, and I don't think we can delay for longer than 15 minutes or so, but while we're waiting, we can do something else. Maybe I thought the first 2 duels would take time and snooze the alarm. Could have done. We can do something else. So, chat vote. What do you guys want to do? Do you want to rummage through the store, or do you want to have some loser battles? Do you want the that sounds mean, but basically, do you want the people who lost their fights? Do you want like Neon and Gamer to have a battle and things like that? Sigan saying, what's with the right side players? I know, it's weird. Only Snow Leopard shows up. Dozing off. Yeah. It's not very good. So anyway, we can rummage through the store and we can look for some tasty stuff. Or we can do a loser bracket battle. Or we can just do some random sub-battles. Or, as George says, we can do some rental battles. Yaxi isn't answering his phone. Well, I hope they haven't all gotten into some sort of horrific accident. That would be... Good morning. Yes. Margin, juicy cards. I assume that means that you want to do the store. Anyway, yes, chat vote. Rummage around in the store, loser brackets, rental battles, or standard sub-battles. Talpesh, you talked to Jukisha. Okay. That's good. I mean, if Jukisha at least shows up, then we can disqualify Yaxi and Veritude, and then whoever wins between Snow Leopard and Jukisha gets a jump into the finals, which is... Losers bracket sounds good, Galliamir. Chengli wants battles, Neon. We can then, one of us battle Snow Leopard. Tibbo, who knows this green card boy and dog? It's Hunter Piole. You got a big problem to defend this card, how to defend against it. Drop creatures that have a higher HP than she can, or he can kill. I don't know actually what gender it is. And use snag traps like Cocoon Trap and Free Summon and things like that. Okay, Jukisha is actually around and ready. That's good. Okay. Well, people do seem to be like into the loser brackets, but they're saying, oh, loser brackets just as Jukisha shows up. So we can do loser battles at the end of the tournament. Let's do loser battles at the end of the tournament, because that could be pretty fun. For now, it looks like we're going to either have to disqualify Yaxi and Veritude or just meh. We'll see. We will do the battle now between Snow Leopard and Jukisha, since he's shown up. Everyone battles Snow Leopard, says Ching. I like that idea. Everyone pile on Snow Leopard. So we will do the Snow Leopard versus Jukisha fight. If Yaxi and Veritude have not turned up by the time that it is finished, we will discard them both. Disqualify them both. Sorry, not discard. That's a card term. We will disqualify them both, and whoever wins between Snow Leopard and Jukisha will move directly into the finals. Then we will do the finals, and then after that we'll have some fun loser bracket battles, okay? Test PLA's gender with Incubus. Yeah, we're gonna have to just start doing this. No more assuming genders. We're gonna have to test every single card against the Incubus. We can discard them too. Devo, you fight in duel. Yeah, well, sure, why not? They clearly don't value our company. I know, it's very sad. Alright, so anyway, Snow Leopard versus Jukisha. Both of them seem they're ready. So, when you guys are both ready, please let me know in the chat. I'm going to flip the coin right now. Heads, Snow Leopard sends the request, and tails is Jukisha. So, it's... Oh, it went everywhere. Okay, it landed on my pocket. It's tails. Yes, that's Tails. Good. Okay, so Jukisha, please send a battle request to Snow Leopard. Tibbo, you want to see someone battling me? Fair enough. Maybe at the end of the tournament, then. I'll do a special exhibition match against whoever wants to fight me. I'll use some weird decks. Alright. Snow Leopard and Jukisha. So yes, Jukisha, please send a battle request to Snow Leopard. Jukisha, send a request to Snow Leopard. And I will look for the transition. As will Samurai Quack. It's not my proper arc juice today. It's a different concoction. It's not... Oh, it's not quite so nice. Modifier, Arcadean vs. the World. Nah! Tibwa, you are the reason why I'm watching you. I want to see you fighting. Fair enough. Why not? Why not? Looks like Sloth's having a fight. Anyway, let's move into the actual tournament battle. Okay, so Snow Leopard versus Jukisha. Snow Leopard up at the top with the S hero and 2 mutants. Jukisha down the bottom with the Sarah hero, which is quite interesting, and 1 mutant. Will, hello. Late. Okay, so Jukisha opens with a very aggressive elf, and it is Snow Leopard's turn. He answers with an elf of his own, of course, with the S ability. Snow Leopard's elf will actually overpower Jukisha's elf, despite the fact that it was dropped second. Okay, let's see. Command Hunting comes out and takes care of that elf, and the Jukisha's elf does manage to get 3 damage off, of course, thanks to S's secondary ability. Fireball comes out, takes care of Jukisha's elf, and clears the board. Jukisha is ready to level up, and he does so, and Snow Leopard follows suit. Let's see. Leopard comes out, facing off against Snow Leopard. Oh. And Forest Keeper Imp on the right-hand side. So very, very aggressive play there by Jukisha. Not conserving resources, just flooding the field, hoping to take advantage of the fact that Snow Leopard has already used a removal spell. Let's see if it pays off for him. I'll continue to drink this Arc Juice Light. Ugh. Okay, Elephant comes out on the far right-hand side. That is, of course, going to kill the Forest Keeper Imp, thanks to S's ability, on its next turn. So if Jukisha wants to keep that Forest Keeper Imp alive, he's going to have to remove that Elephant. Will he play something else aggressive? Snow Leopard decides not to. Discards a card into nature, so this could be interesting. Could be Hidden Spider, could be Ambush Vine. Generally, when you see the S hero, you assume any nature discards are Ambush Vine, but who knows? And it was, in fact, an Ambush Vine, and it comes out in front of the Leopard. That is going to, of course, kill the Leopard long before the Leopard could kill the Ambush Vine, but then... yeah, so it goes. It would have happened anyway. Magic Missile comes out, takes care of the Ambush Vine, drops it right back into the grave. Interesting. So Jukisha is just going to let that Forest Keeper Imp die. Not going to take any steps to remove that light elephant. He wants to keep his 2 leopards out of the field. Command Hunting comes out. That's going to kill that far left-hand side leopard. And Black Spirit comes out in front of Jukisha's leopard. The elephant kills the Forest Keeper Imp thanks to S's ability, and now Snow Leopard has battlefield control. Jukisha revives out of the grave, which is interesting, and is now ready to level up to 3. Will he decide to do that and just take the elephant's damage, or will he decide to drop another creature or play a removal spell? Let's find out. Paralyzing Bullet comes out, takes care of that Black Spirit. That is going to be 6 damage coming out onto Snow Leopard. Jukisha really just hammering into Snow Leopard's HP right now. But, of course, draining his resources while he's doing so. Snow Leopard managing to maintain a resource lead, although light and mana not looking so great. A lot of resources into nature. Cocoon of Evolution comes out onto the Leopard. That's an interesting delay play by Snow Leopard there, although we may have a plan for the future. Let's find out. Jukisha is ready to level up to 3, but he may decide to play a removal spell first for the lowered resource cost. Command Hunting or something, perhaps. But he decides to play an elf, which is quite interesting, luring out that Ambush Vine. Interesting choice. Interesting choice. Normally, of course, if you're playing a creature when you're ready to level up, you level up first and then you play the creature. But perhaps he just wanted that elf. That Ambush Vine brought out. Decides to go for the Command Hunting, not bothering to level up to 3. Just going to keep at level 2 and pile on the pressure as much as he possibly can. Magic Missile coming out. That's going to kill that Cocoon. And 1, 2, and 4 resources, not a heck of a lot. Snow Leopard decides to charge up instead. He's going to put that 4 damage out, and he's going to ignore that elf for now because, of course, it is still paralyzed from that ambush vine. Jukisha decides to level up, which puts the resources into mana. And will he decide to remove that elephant now, block the elephant, or is he going to continue to ignore it and save up his resources? It is a difficult question, and he is thinking about it. It is one of those things that can really make or break a match. Do you take the extra 4 damage and get yourself down to 19 HP, which is always a little bit worrying when you drop below 20, or do you use up some of the resources that you're already running low on in order to deal with your opponent's creature? It's a difficult question to answer, and Jukisha is taking his time and thinking about it. Let's see what he decides to go with. Aggressive, defensive. He goes aggressive. He's not going to block or remove that elephant, and neither is he going to charge. He is instead going to place a Forest Keeper Imp in the middle of the field there, trying to play very, very aggressively, forcing Snow Leopard to answer creature threats rather than play any creature threats of his own. But Snow Leopard is going to play the Mage, 39 years old, which is always fantastic to see. Used to be a big, big thing way back in the G2, is he? I can't actually tell. He's G1 or G2. He used to be way, very, very top used card in a lot of the arenas way back in the day. You don't tend to see him very much anymore, but he's honestly become a little bit more viable now that Piole is such a big deal. So Jukisha charges up twice. Does he have anything in hand to remove the Mage 39 years old? It doesn't look like it. It looks like he's going to just leave that be. He's going to deal that extra 5 damage to Snow Leopard. Snow Leopard revives out of the grave and discards into mana. Going to have to answer that elf, which he does with a fireball. Takes care of that elf. The Mage 39 years old is going to deal with that Forest Keeper Imp, and the elephant, of course, is going to continue to deal its damage. Now, Jukisha is in an awkward situation here. Absolutely needs to deal with that Mage 39 years old immediately, or that is fatal damage, which he does with a Mana Vampire +1. Very interesting play there. Now, will he decide to go for the elephant? He does not. He's ignoring the elephant. Bold, aggressive plays by Jukisha here. Going to ignore that elephant and discard a card into nature. Interesting. Are we going to see an Ambush Vine? Are we going to see a Hidden Spider, perhaps? Let's find out. Snow Leopard in a very awkward situation here. Can't really leave either the Leopard or the Vampire unanswered in case Jukisha manages to remove that Mage 39 years old. Of course, at this point only has 1 HP. Interesting. And Snow Leopard is it's now his turn to think very carefully about this. What will he decide to do? He has 2 creatures that he really needs to answer in order to be secure about not dying on the next turn. But with only 1, 5, and 3 resources, is he going to be able to? Elf comes out and is snagged by a cocoon trap. So it wasn't an ambush vine or a hidden spider. It was in fact a cocoon trap. Now that is interesting. There was a bit of a bold play there by Snow Leopard. If it had been an ambush vine, that would have pushed Leopard out of the way, and Leopard would then have had a 66.6% chance to land in an empty slot, which would of course guaranteed fatal. Snow Leopard with only 1, 1, and 3 resources doesn't really have any other way of answering that Leopard. So bold play there, banking on the fact that Jukisha did not have an ambush vine. Decides to discard into light. Let's see. Cameron, I discard for Paralyzing Bullet and Duke wins. There's nothing on Snow Leopard's side to Paralyzing Bullet except for the Cocoon. Because it won't damage unless the creature's already paralyzed. Jukisha decides to revive from the grave, taking his HP down to 6. Discards into gold. Does he have a plan? Paralyzing Bullet, Weaken Spell comes out. It's not really going to affect that Paralyzing Bullet. That's going to damage the Cocoon enough. Okay, interesting. Damages the Cocoon enough that he can deal with that. Snow Leopard revives. Oh, interesting. Okay. Very interesting there. revives in order to damage Jukisha's HP thanks to Sarah's secondary ability, and Elephant manages to land the finishing blow. That battle was very, very close. Very well played to Jukisha there, managing to take Snow Leopard right down to the wire, but Snow Leopard just managing to pull the victory out, and congratulations to him for moving up into the semi-finals. Very close. I honestly thought Jukisha was going to actually pull the victory out there, which would have been a heck of an upset. Okay, nice. Very nice. Good game. Ooh, very good game. Okay, you would have expected chunting. Oh, command hunting. I see. It's a light removal to remove that vampire. Weaken spell, 1 snow that game. It was good. Very, very good game on both sides. And yeah, no shame to Jukisha for losing there. Came so close to winning, and Snow Leopard is a really, really good player. So very, very nice fight. What a clutch, says Sigantang. I thought Jukisha had it. Yeah, so did I. Weaken spell, very unusual. Close fight, says Morte, chiming up for the first time in forever. Welcome to the stream, Morte. Yeah, Snow Leopard really is a veteran. Yeah, that was a hell of a fight. That was a hell of a fight. Possibly my favorite so far in the tournament. Very, very nice. Okay, so next up is supposed to be Yaxi versus Veritude, because Veritude, despite the fact that you were late, tut, people did sort of vote to keep this going. So has anybody managed to get in touch with Yaxi yet? I'm still not seeing him online. No, let's see. Let's see. Save Snow Leopard's life. Yeah, the weaken spell. The weaken spell was smart. Yeah, the bullet would have completely destroyed the cocoon, giving a clear shot to the leopard. Yeah, it was really, really nice. Very, very close. Very, very well played on both sides there. So yeah, some wonderfully unusual card choices by Snow Leopard with the weaken spell and so on and so forth, and some very good plays by Jukisha there. So cool. Who would expect weaken spell exactly? Morte, you've been lurking for a long time, just needed to comment on that duel. Yeah, I think everybody kind of needed to comment on that duel. That was a hell of a duel. Kangi versus Veritude in the finals. Maybe, you never know. Yaxi's still not here. We will give him 4 minutes. We've already given him a lot of time, but I like nice round numbers, and 4 minutes will take it to 10 to 4 my time. So we'll give him 4 minutes whilst everyone just kind of continues to talk about that last fight. And, well, 3 minutes now, it's just ticked over. If he hasn't shown up by then we will give Veritude the victory by disqualification. Yes. Reemplazo. I don't know what that means. Nobody would expect the weaken spell, especially if the banned cards were available. Yeah. Fantastic to see weaken spell actually being used, and being used nicely, you know. Lukaku, anybody can suggest you a card to build around? You want to try some new things? Warlords, always warlords. Deadpool, kind of a shame that cards like that aren't frequently used. Yeah, it is. Honestly, decent spell. The problem, of course, is that when you only have 12 cards to choose from, picking a weakened spell, you know, it feels like almost a dead slot most of the time. But it turns out in this particular instance to be an absolute lifesaver. Yeah. Okay. Will, what do you think? What do you guys think would happen if Jukisha used a bullet on the elephant instead? Oh, who knows? New things with Lukaku. Try building a deck around Secretus? Yeah, you could build a deck around Secretus. Why not? You've tried Warlords already. Oh, you have. Yeah, so you have. Build a deck around Penguin. He's actually not completely useless now that S is a thing. Yeah, Penguin. Two more minutes until Yaxi is disqualified. Martin, you've reworked your 9 deck. What does everybody think? Let me boot this up into the browser. That is not how you remove stuff. Let's see, 9 the Phantom deck. What do you got here? Double Kadir's Flying Sword, Magic Missile, Holy Missile, Skeleton, Mukro, Golden Garden Cat, Surprise Attack, Drag to Hell, Trap in the Castle, Ice Spear, and 9. That is really low on creatures. You are really, well, not like really low on creatures, really low on high damage creatures is what I mean to say, with no Phantom of the Wolf, which is quite unusual. Normally with a deck like that, you'd see Phantom of the Wolf instead of one of the Kadir's Flying Swords, just that you could buff up the traps as well as the Skeleton, the Golden Garden Cat 9, and the Creature the 9 summons. But yeah, interesting, certainly. Tibor, you fought with Warlords in the story quest. Really? I forgot there was Warlords in the story quest. You hope S won't be nerfed? I hope not as well. I hope other heroes will get buffed, honestly. But let's see. You couldn't get Yaxi. That's a shame. He's got 1 minute. 1 minute to turn up. Majin, so you think I should switch Kadir's with Phantom? Personally, I would switch one of your Kadir's Flying Sword with Phantom of the Wolf because it meshes well with Trap in the Castle, Skeleton, Kadir's Flying Sword, Golden Garden Cat. It just helps to buff up all the little low damage chip creatures that you've got going, and none of the creatures in your deck have a lot of damage, and you have no Arrow of Revenge. So, personally, yes, if you wanted to keep the structure basically the same, I'd suggest adding in a Phantom of the Wolf, personally. You're supposed to have counted as a better history of buffing heroes and buffing cards. Ugh. Not recently. Not recently. Tibble, what is the reward for clearing the last story mission? I don't remember. I complete all the story missions as soon as they come out. So it's been months since I did this last story mission. I didn't like it anyway. It's all gone so grim, dark, and edgy. Neon, check out this deck. Okay, let's see. Celica, a Mercusi. Kadir's Flying Sword, Covenant Blade, which is cool. Ambush Vine, Flying Sword, Rusty Flying Sword, ouch. Surprise Attack, Command Hunting +1, interesting. Great Sword, Jadeka, Casanova's Mass Dual Wielding Ultimate Mission number 12, and Celica, a Mercusi. That is a weird-ass deck, dude. That is really, really weird. You only have 2 creatures that you can really bring out early on in the game. That's Kadir's Flying Sword and Flying Sword, because of course Rusty Flying Sword is awful. Interesting. You've got 3 creatures in there that cost 5 or more at level 1. Very top heavy, but it'd be interesting to see how it runs. Run a sub battle sometime. Reemplazo is replacement. Ah, okay. Thank you. Learning all the time. I wish you had Slap in your deck. But Phantom of the Wolf, think it's much better that way. Good. Daniel says, oh, how am I feeling? I'm feeling much better. Thank you. Except I'm having to use like knockoff Arc Juice. It's not the right Arc Juice. It's not correct Arc Juice. It's different ingredients today. It's not great. It's giving me a bit of a chippy tummy. Disqualified, says Evil Bard. Yes. Yaxi is disqualified, unfortunately. Sorry, Yaxi, but the rules are the rules. We delayed as long as we could. So, Veritude, by virtue of disqualification, moves up into the semi-finals. So, it looks like we're going to have some really... I'm just going to move that. My OCD is kicking in. It's not quite aligned. Still not quite aligned. We're 1 pixel off. That's fine. Okay, so it looks like we're going to have a very, very interesting fight here. Semi-finals is going to be Kangi versus Yellow Dragon, and then Veritude versus Snow Leopard. Cool. Lukakra, you can replace Yaxi. No, you can't. You dropped out already. Rusty for the sword spell. Yeah, I mean, that's... Yeah, I knew that you were using Rusty for the sword spell, which is why I was saying you only had 2 low-level creatures to bring out, the Kadir's Flying Sword and the Flying Sword. Because he's not going to be using Rusty Flying Sword as a low-level creature, so really weird. Banassa, I wish you could try the Arc Juice one day. It looks delicious. Normally it is, yeah, when it's not this knockoff... Well, not knockoff, but when it's not this... This Arc Juice light rubbish. It doesn't give me power, it just gives me a jippy tummy. Okay, so next fight is going to be Kangi versus Yellow Dragon. It looks like Kangi is ready. So Yellow Dragon, when you are ready, please comment in the chat, and I am going to flip the coin to see who goes first. Let's see. Hoppa! It is Tails. It's always Tails. Well, it's not always Tails. I think we had heads once. It's Tails. So, Yellow Dragon, please send Kangi a battle request. Yellow Dragon, please send Kangi a battle request. Evilbard, you use sword with that spell that kills 3 opponent creatures. You mean the Covenant Blade? Is that the one you're thinking of? Can Arc Juice be other than red? Nope. The ingredients for the true Arc Juice force it into a red color. Morte, the juice is the blood of his enemies. Already confirmed. Well, it's also been confirmed that it's goat's blood. It's also been confirmed that it's the tears of my enemies. So it's been confirmed that it's a lot of things. On left side is always tails, on right side is always heads. Imagine it's so artistic. I hadn't noticed that. But yeah. Okay. So is the man. You should shuffle and draw a trump card and decide it by card's color instead of coins. Probably easier to do it in front of the camera. Probably. Yes. Split difference duel. And here we go. Okay, Kangi versus Yellow Dragon. Kangi up at the top with L and 1 mutant. Yellow Dragon down the bottom with L and 3 mutants. Both players using Nature and Light. Kangi using Mana and Yellow Dragon using Dark. Yellow Dragon's turn. He starts first and he opens with a very aggressive elf. How will Kangi decide to use... how to answer this? He decides with a Fireball. Down goes the elf, which of course is a good resource trade for Yellow Dragon, but it does give Kangi an EXP advantage and does get that elf off the board. Yellow Dragon decides to switch to a defensive foot and charges up. And it's Kangi's turn, who decides to go aggressive now. So both players have now switched their roles around. Aggressive Yellow Dragon becomes defensive, and defensive Kangi goes aggressive. It worked out well for him against Neon Works. Let's see if it works out well against Yellow Dragon. Yellow Dragon's turn now, of course. Can he answer this Forest Keeper Imp? Now, with his resources, you would assume that he has a Command Hunting in there somewhere, possibly a Drag to Hell, but no... possibly a Holy Missile, but apart from the Holy Missile, no way of removing that Forest Keeper Imp for equal cost. Decides not to bother answering the imp at all and instead plays a Flying Sword on the right hand side, which is unfortunately for Yellow Dragon immediately answered by a Magic Missile, and the Forest Keeper Imp does manage to get the 3 damage off, which is quite painful to receive at level 1. Ideally, of course, you don't want to receive any damage whatsoever at level 1 because it has a cumulative effect on your HP growth over the next couple of levels. Yellow Dragon decides to go with a Nata and a Kadir's Guillotine, opening up with a very, very aggressive play there. The Kadir's Guillotine, thanks to Nata's attack value kills that Forest Keeper Imp. Leaves Nata out on the field. The Kadir's Guillotine, of course. Kangi not really going to want to leave either of those out there, but with 16 HP on Nata, Kangi would have to put down a pretty resource-intensive answer. He'd basically have to drop a creature and a Command Hunting. It looks like that may be what he's going to do. Forest Keeper Imp comes out, and will he use a Command Hunting? He does. A light Command Hunting at -1, which we've seen before in this tournament, and that takes out the Nata. Now, of course, if Yellow Dragon brings out another creature with a high enough attack value, then Kadir's Guillotine will simply activate once again and kill the Forest Keeper Imp once again. But let's see if he can actually do that. With 6 resources into light, he may be able to. If he's got something like a Mage 39 years old hidden, squirreled away somewhere in there, that might be enough. But judging by the time he's taking to think about it, he has no obvious answers. So let's see. We got the chat cheering for both Kangi and Yellow Dragon here. Command Hunting comes out, not going to bother playing the creature apparently. Just going to drop that Command Hunting and charge up. This, of course, leaves the Kadir's Guillotine a little bit exposed, and down it goes. Flying Sword, plus another Command Hunting. Aggressive plays here by Kangi, but he can afford to do so because Yellow Dragon's resources are also fairly low. And that Flying Sword, of course, nothing to sneeze at. 7 attack right now. It will have 6 on Kangi's turn because of its ability. But 6 damage, not really something that you generally want to put a creature in front of, especially when your opponent has enough resources to use a removal spell. Command Hunting comes out, once again takes care of that Flying Sword, and Yellow Dragon levels up to 3, taking a level lead. Now, Kangi can play something here and immediately level up, which is what he does, plays a Flying Sword, and levels up. Once again, using a very low-cost chip damage deck to apply continuous pressure onto Yellow Dragon. Let's see if it pays off for him. Lorna, -1, it looks like, comes out on the left-hand side of that Flying Sword. Yellow Dragon once again ignoring his opponent's threatening creature in order to try to put pressure onto him. Decides to charge up and then revive from the grave, hurting both players. Kangi does the same thing, revives cards from the grave, obviously trying to get some removal spells back into his hand, and there it is, the Magic Missile comes out, takes care of that Lorna -1. Now the Lorna -1, of course, good card, doesn't gain grave cost, will always cost the same amount of resources no matter how many times it gets killed. But you do, of course, have to use an action to revive it from the grave, and that will, again, actually hurt your HP. So it's not it's not perfect, but it does mean the Yellow Dragon can conceivably outlast his opponent in the long term. Decides to charge up on his first action, and let's see how second and third decide to be used. Light Command Hunting comes out again. That's a 5 resource spell now a 6 thanks to the grave cost. And charges up. Okay, so Yellow Dragon just focusing on removing his opponent's threats right now and trying to gain as much resource as possible. Kangi, knowing that that's what Yellow Dragon is planning on doing, just brings out a single solitary flying sword once again and charges up for the remainder of his turns. Yellow Dragon discards into darkness. Are we going to see a Kadir's Guillotine? Possibly. But possibly not. It depends on whether or not he has any creatures left that can actually deal the necessary, or that have the necessary attack value. But, okay, Kadir's Guillotine does come out, as does Wanderer Sarah Light. Interesting. Down goes the Kadir's Guillotine. Now, Kangi may choose to revive from the grave here to get Wanderer Sarah Light onto his side of the field. Let's see if he does. He goes for the charge. Discards into the grave, and ambush comes out. Okay, so not going to bother dealing, not going to bother with the revival back and forth. Decides instead just to put all of his resources into removing both threats. Both players now doing not fantastically for resources. Kangi with a slight lead there with 9 nature, but only 3 mana and 0 light. And Yellow Dragon, of course, running a 5, 1, and 3. Kangi still trying to play, put a lot of aggressive pressure on, and revives from the field, revives from the grave, obviously, which hurts Yellow Dragon a little bit more, but does put Lorna -1 back into Yellow Dragon's hand, which could be useful. But he decides to go for Skeleton instead. Bold move, given that he knows that Kangi has Command Hunting and has more than enough resources to cast that spell. So let's see what he decides to do next. Command Hunting to remove that elf. Okay, so he's not worried about the skeleton being immediately removed and the elf getting the damage through. Now, of course, that it's removed and charges up. Yellow Dragon beginning to fall a little bit behind now in terms of resources. Kangi just keeping up that little chip damage removal spell. Combos just going and going and going, but of course every time he does it, it costs him a little bit more, and now his resources are right back down to where Yellow Dragons are. Both players here just really racking up their grave costs. A lot of low cost cards here coming out, but I think we've seen the last of the Kadir's Guillotine, unfortunately, because it's a lot of fun as a card, but having gone twice into the grave, I don't think we'll see Yellow Dragon build up enough resources for that again. Another charge, which goes into light, which Yellow Dragon may or may not be happy about. It does allow him to charge back up towards the Command Hunting light, but he may prefer if he was getting some resources into nature so that he can bring his Nata and other cards back out again. Out comes the Lorna -1 in front of that Forest Keeper Imp. That is, of course, not going to survive the damage, so that is Yellow Dragon playing a very just defensive pacing there. Decides to go for that, and the revival out of the grave off the Lorna. Good job, says Kangi, and the Forest Keeper Imp lands a finishing blow. An excellent piece of grave manipulation by Kangi there. Well played, Yellow Dragon, and congratulations to Kangi, who once again moves up into the finals. All right. Let's see. And there we are, Kangi. All right, Kangi once again making it into the finals. Let's see. Next fight is between Veritude and Snow Leopard. So will we see a repetition of last tournament where it was Kangi versus Veritude, or will we see Snow Leopard take the spot in the finals? Let's find out. So, Snow Leopard and Veritude, when you guys are ready, please let me know in the chat, and we will flip the coin. Boom. And it's heads. So it is actually happening. As was pointed out, yes, the right-hand side is always heads, left-hand side is always tails for some reason. Okay, so heads. Veritude, please send a battle request to Snow Leopard. Veritude, please send a battle request to Snow Leopard. Kangi's out of alignment. Oh, yes, so he is. Well spotted. There you go. Nope, no, he's still out of alignment. I've had to minimize... Whoopsie daisy. I've had to minimize my, well, not minimize, but I've had to shrink the OBS screen down so I can get all of this information onto the one screen. So I'm just like, pixel by pixel movement. Anyway, where are we? I don't see... Oh no, there we are. I see Veritude. And, good. Okay, it looks like the transition may be occurring. Andrew, you're mildly OCD too. I think most gamers are. Okay, here we go. Alright, so Veritude up at the top with the S hero and 4 mutants. Snow Leopard down at the bottom with 2 mutants and the S hero. Both players running gold, nature, and light. Veritude opens with an aggressive Leopard against Snow Leopard. We're seeing that a lot, actually. And let's see how Snow Leopard decides to answer it. And OCD, yes, Morte, OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. Snow Leopard decides not to answer it. Interesting. Decides to charge up instead. Discard, rather. Sorry, into nature. So, let's see what we shall see. With S, of course, you always expect it to be an ambush find, but who knows? Who knows? Veritude not entirely sure what Snow Leopard has just dropped, having to give it a little bit of a think. Does he want to play another creature, be really bold about this? Or he does. He wants to be very bold about it. He drops the light elephant, but it is answered by the ambush vine. So Veritude is going to have to invest in a removal spell if he wants the elephant to survive and deal any damage. Thanks to S's ability, of course, the ambush vine will kill the elephant before the elephant is before the elephant is able to deal any damage of its own. So let's see. Snow Leopard, considering whether or not he wants to do something about that leopard, or whether he wants to charge up and gain a resource advantage early on in the game. Decides to go for the command hunting, really wants that elephant taken down immediately, so now there is no advantage really to Veritude in removing that ambush vine. It would just put it right back into the grave. Veritude decides to level up, does the 3 damage to Snow Leopard. Snow Leopard levels up and deals 3 damage to Veritude. Both players more or less even in terms of resources, more or less even in terms of health, and almost exactly, in fact I think it is exactly even, in terms of experience. So, and both have a creature with 2 attack value out onto the field. Both players using S, so both will be taking 1 extra damage from all creature hits. So far, something of a mirror match. Citizen Gold +1 comes out, lands in front of the ambush vine. That will kill Snow Leopard's ambush vine unless he decides to answer it. He drops an elf in front of the leopard, because of course now the elf will take care of that immediately. Paralyzing Bullet comes out. That is going to weaken the citizen enough that it dies. However, of course, thanks to Citizen's ability, it will put some light resources into Veritude's camp pool, basically. So, Gold Citizen +1, very, very good card. Well, a very, very good card, but it is a good card. It's a very good card. It's the best version of Citizen that you can run. So let's see if Veritude takes advantage of the light resources he was just given. He does, and he manages to remove that elf with a command hunting. This takes him down to even number of resources as Snow Leopard decides to play aggressively again, drops the elf down in front of the ambush vine. Will Snow Leopard decide to answer that elf or not? Let's find out. He decides to answer the leopard with a light elephant and a command hunting. So once again, the elephant and the command hunting, and that is 3 damage comes out onto Veritude. Both players really not giving each other any ground whatsoever. Both of them ready to level up to 3 now, and both of them with creatures on the field and a decent amount of resources in their pool. Veritude, of course, a slight resource lead at the moment. Snow Leopard with 0 light, and Veritude, of course, up with 5. But equally, Veritude only has 3 nature, and Snow Leopard has 5. So not too big of a disparity. Out comes the command hunting. Both players just really using these chip damage creatures and the command hunting to go to town on each other, and levels up. Snow Leopard levels up first and then drops a Tsubaki, interesting, and the ambush vine deals the 3 damage. Tsubaki charges up her energy up to 3. Now Tsubaki, of course, 20 effective HP at the moment, so the only way that Veritude can really remove her at this point immediately is with a light command hunting, and there it is. Light command hunting comes out, kills the Tsubaki. Tsubaki deals 3 damage onto the leopard, and the leopard is now free to deal damage onto Snow Leopard. Citizen Gold +1 comes out once again, out in front of that ambush vine, and 3 damage from the leopard comes out onto Snow. Cocoon of Evolution comes out onto the Citizen +1, so Snow Leopard not going to let Veritude get any light bonuses off that, and he decides to charge up to try to gain a resource advantage. Looks like he's going to charge up a second time. He is. Okay, so the resources are racking up. That ambush vine is going to kill that cocoon unless it gets removed, but it is removed. Veritude playing very, very aggressively, taking care of that ambush vine with a holy missile and charges up. Just going to leave that leopard out onto the field. Just going to leave that cocoon there. Force Snow Leopard to remove it. Otherwise, the cocoon will, of course, hatch on its next turn. So, a bit of an awkward situation here for Snow Leopard. He has to remove that cocoon before it transforms back into the Citizen, because you don't really want to deal with that. It would have been a wasted cocoon spell. But equally, you feel bad about using big removal spells against it because it only has 2 HP. Big revival there by Snow Leopard costs him 8 HP, dropping him all the way down to 1. He absolutely needs to answer both this Leopard and this Cocoon +1 now this turn, or risk losing on his next turn. He decides to go for an elephant in front of the cocoon and a leopard in front of Veritude's leopard. He is going to let that that Citizen Gold +1 come right back out. Of course, it now has 14 attack value and 22 HP, so that is going to be extremely painful, and is, of course, going to immediately eliminate that light elephant. And it will put Snow Leopard into a very awkward situation. He can use Command Hunting next turn, provided it's a double nature drop. We're about to see another Command Hunting, aren't we? Out comes the Command Hunting, down goes the elephant, and Snow Leopard dies to a gold Citizen +1. Don't underestimate a Citizen. Indeed, Veritude takes the victory. Very well played there. Well played to Snow Leopard, and congratulations to Veritude. It looks like once again it is going to be Kangi versus Veritude in the finals. Wow. Okay, so this is going to be something of a grudge match between these two players. Let's see, I'm going to remove that. Nope, I can't get it quite right. There we go, that's good enough. Sexy match, says Deadpool, and I agree. Very nicely fought between those two. Very nicely fought. Veritude is vicious with his buffed up Citizen. Yeah, beefy Citizen, yes. Everyone here so far was super aggressive. Yep. Daniel, what do you think about the low-cost versus high-cost debate? I mean, using low-cost creatures and spells versus using a deck that centers around slightly higher-costed card. It depends on the kind of deck and playstyle that you're going for. Control decks, for example, tend to prefer to last into the late game, in which case high-powered, more expensive cards can be very good. But if you're into tempo, then lower-cost chip damage cards can often be better. As you can see, Kenki's been using a low-cost chip damage deck all the way up through this tournament. It's worked out very well. Cheng Li, just as the last tournament. Yep. Snow Leopard going first is so strong on S mirror match. Yeah, true. 14 attack Citizen. Yep. History repeats itself more to. Yep. Super Citizen, says Hime. Yes. Ancient Rivals. Yes, that is no ordinary Citizen. Citizen stats were like a Dras. Yeah, Citizen on steroids. That Citizen is going to be the talked about card, I think, once this tournament is done. So yes. And I can't read the Japanese or the Chinese writing. I apologize. Last time you longed for Vert's victory, but this tournament you're voting for Kengi's revenge, Martian. Okay, Evil Bard, this is your first TCG and you really like this game. This community is what really brings you to enjoy this game. I'm happy to hear it. Nice to hear. And Martian, thumbs up. Okay, so we because Veritude has just fought, we will have just a very short 5-minute break here, just to let him catch his breath, pick what deck he thinks he's going to want for the next fight, go back over Kengi's battles and so on and so forth. Christian, hello, what did I mean? I think you mean miss. What did you miss? You've missed basically everything. We're just on the final battle now. This is the battle for the 10 million gold. Sloth and Moth, Young Dras, new card, yes. The community is really amazing. It's very good. It's very good. Calpesh, you're ready? Good. Okay, we'll just wait on Veritude. We're going to give Veritude a little bit of time just to get ready, just to make sure that that he's relaxed, he's calm, he's picked out the right deck, and he's ready to go. And I will flip the coin. We're not on left or right hand sides now, so watch it land on its edge. Okay. It is tails. Okay, so I suppose, I mean, generally you go like clockwise, don't you? So it'd be heads and tails. So, Veritude, send Kangi a request, okay? So, Veritude, whenever you're ready, no hurry, but when you're ready, send Kangi a battle request. Andrew Lim, I'm going to get a Citizen +1, cocoon him yourself, and see him fly. Protect him like crazy, though, yeah. Well, Kangi, Will, sorry, yep, catching breath. No worries, don't worry. You've got some time. Relax, relax, relax. When you are ready, let me know and send Kangi a battle request. This is gonna be epic, y'all. Moth's American heritage is breaking through. That was insane stat. Yeah, that was insane stat. 14 and 22 citizen. That was one buff citizen. Dragonborn citizen, yes. Yes, you can imagine him finishing off the fight with a Fusroda. What did everybody side with in Skyrim, by the way? Did you side with the Imperials or did you side with the Nords? Citizen, hero, citizen Dras. Yeah. Somebody do some art or something with the buff citizen in it. I know we've got some good artists and designers and things in here because I've had some fan art which has been phenomenal. So somebody do some art of the citizen Dras. Look out right in before they actually tie. Usroda. Daniel, Ark, how close is this going to be? This is going to be very close. This is going to be very, very close. Kangi and Veritude, obviously, very, very good fighters. Sloth, Ark, will you help me build a light Dragon Man Knight deck? Absolutely. I like light Dragon Man Knight. Beastkin Citizen Metapod Edition. Yeah. From, what was it? It's Caterpie, so it would have to be what? Citizen P. Citipy. Citipy. I like that, actually. Citipy. Into Meta-Citizen. Margin on Skyrim, you always sided with the Stormcloaks, but you think that would be bad for Skyrim because that would weaken Skyrim's forces against a possible Thalmor invasion. Yeah. I was kind of with the Stormcloaks, sort of in theory, but the Imperials were actually quite right. I mean, they were biding their time, they were playing dead until they could beat the Thalmor, and the Stormcloak Rebellion was just weakening their ability to do that, so... yeah. The Imperial is probably the correct side. Lukaku, I mind if you join during the building session. Don't know what to build around. Absolutely. Yeah, sure, maybe we'll do a live stream where we just build decks. Would everybody be interested in that? Andrew, I could almost hear that Citizen +1 shout Fusroda as he lands the finishing blow just now. Yeah. This is Skyrim! Fusroda! Skyrim belongs to the Nords, though. True. True. It can belong to the Nords, but still be governed by the Imperials. Moth, you would love that type of live stream. Okay, so we have one vote for a deck building live stream. Lukaku, I've been thinking about it for 1 straight hour, and you just can't find a card. That's a shame. I had a weird deck that I was starting building around. Let me see if I can just fish it out again. Give you an idea what it was. When was it? Oh yeah, that was it. It was Golden Garden Cat, Gold Hand Alchemist, a lot of counter and anti-spells, and then Ultimate True Holy Spear. It was so troll. So much fun. Just trust in Talos. Is Talos the one that was banned? The god that was banned? I'm pretty sure. Brendan, definitely interested in a deck building live stream. Good, good. Evil Bart, you don't get it. You're so lost about the Skyrim stuff, I assume. Dukakrai, 2 votes for deck building stream. 1 more vote for deck building and explaining advanced tactics. Yeah, we can do that. Marie, you'd love that too, from Lilith deck to Vampire Vera deck. Okay, sure. Alright. If everybody's interested in that, then get onto the Discord once the tournament's over and we'll discuss having like a special deck building and maybe an advanced strategies live stream. Martin, no, please, that dude yelling in Whiterun, you couldn't hear his prayers. I did that thing where you fire an arrow into the air, sit down on the bench, look at him, and the arrow comes down and just whops him right in the head. because the guards don't know that you did it because it was so long since you fired the arrow and it comes down, you don't get chased for it. Deck building is good. 10 million gold giveaway. That's what I'm basically doing here. Mini B final ended. Nope, we're just waiting on Veritude to relax and get ready. He's got like a couple minutes left of his cooldown time, so you have 2 minutes left, Veritude. So whenever you're ready, do just let us know. Deck building +1 from Andrew. Deck building's good from Neon. Pardon me. Banassi, you've fixed your Discord PC rather than you can join in Discord. Excellent. Good. Lukakra, what do you mean by advanced strategies? Basically anything that beginner to early intermediate players wouldn't necessarily know about. For example, the fact that friendly battles you can dictate who goes first based on who requests the battle. Some tricks like Goblin Bomb Squad and Drag to Hell. That's a fairly well-known one. Almost a better trick in some ways is Goblin Bomb Squad plus Lightning. You can get some really, really interesting stuff going there. But yes, stuff like that maybe. Ready, do you send the request first? Yes, Veritude, yes. You send the request first, please. Daniel's rooting for Vert. Tiboa, I ever use my rage card in one deck and ever lose. Okay. Imagine Sophania Succubus mod on your Skyrim going around with OP stats murdering everyone. Yeah, that's always fun. I mean, I have like over 1,000 hours in Skyrim and it's basically because of the mods. Cowpush is ready. Good. Morte, if you choose to kill Parthenax, we're not friends. Who would kill Parthenax? You'd have to be a monster to kill Parthenax. The dude was awesome. Frickin' mountain dragon. Okay, here we go. Lightning is expensive though, yes, but you can do some stuff with lightning that you can't do with Drag to Hell. Okay, let's make a start here. Kangi up at the top with 1 mutant and the L hero. Veritude down at the bottom with 4 mutants and the S hero. Opens with an aggressive fox, which is immediately countered by a firebolt. Once again, this is for all the marbles. Whoever wins this fight will walk away with 10 million gold after tax, okay? This isn't 10 million gold and then 20% of it is taken off. You are going to get 20 million gold off this. Forest Keeper Imp comes out on Kangi's side. Now he's ready to level up to 2. Veritude answers that with a Holy Missile, gets it off the field, and now Veritude as well is ready to level up. Elf comes out instead of a level up by Kangi, which is very interesting. Veritude thinking about that now. Decides to level up instead, going to take that elf damage. Kangi levels up, the elf deals the damage, and of course that gives Kangi a little bit of an XP lead as well as 8 HP lead. Out comes that Gold Citizen +1 that we saw so much of in Snow Leopard's fight, and that's going to land in front of the elf, which will of course kill the elf long before the elf can kill it. Elephant comes out on the right hand side. Veritude answering Kangi's new aggressive style with a very aggressive style of his own. Opens him up to a command hunting though, and there is the command hunting. It comes out, takes care of that elephant, and another command hunting comes out. Command hunting light +1. Kangi just really laying into Veritude now. Elf does 3 damage thanks to S's negative side of her ability, and it is Veritude's turn. Veritude now taking a pretty strong resource lead, but let's see if he can make the most of it. Leopard comes out in front of the elf, and elf comes out on the right hand side of the leopard. Veritude just playing very aggressively again. Playing his cards almost like he's guarding them against Hunt, but that is, of course, guarded, that's banned, rather, in this tournament. Kangi discards into Nature, is ready to level up, drops a Tiger, turning Veritude's tactics against him, if everyone remembers the last tournament, when Veritude actually managed to pull the victory out by using a surprise Tiger. Obviously something that is sunk into Kangi's mind, as he's been using a Tiger of his own this entire tournament. Command Hunting comes out, takes care of that Tiger, and Veritude decides to level up. Of course, the Tiger already has done its damage. The Leopard and the Elf are both low attack values. Nevertheless, of course, thanks to S's ability, if any creature is put in front of either one of them, they will do 3 extra damage. Command Hunting comes out, takes care of that weakened elf, and Veritude's elf is left out on the field. He levels up to 3, does 2 damage onto Kangi. Kangi leading in terms of HP, and more or less even in terms of resources. Decides to play an aggressive flying sword, ignoring that elf for the moment. Resurrects from the grave. We're going to see a charge up. 4, 4, and 4, and Veritude at 5, 4, and 8. So Veritude really does need to answer that flying sword. At 15 HP, he can't really afford to take too much more damage. But, of course, every time you answer one of these guys, it's going to cause grave cost increase on whatever spell you use. Command Hunting comes out, takes care of that Flying Sword, and that leaves an open field for the Elf. Veritude charges, just wants to maintain a resource lead if he possibly can. Does 2 damage to Kangi, chipping away Kangi, using the tactics we've been seeing for this entire tournament from him. Just a lot of very low-cost chip damage creatures coming out onto the field, followed up with low-cost Command Hunting spells. Let's see if Veritude can answer this easily. Mai comes out, immediately takes care of that Flying Sword. Now, Mai's presence on the field, of course, will protect the Elf from any Command Hunting damage. So Kangi is going to have to play a creature, play a Command Hunting, that'll kill Mai, but it will still leave the Elf out on the field. It's not an ideal situation for him to find himself in. However, thanks to that aggressive play, he is going to take a resource lead. So out comes the Firebolt, out comes an aggressive Elf on the center of the field. And will he charge up? He does. There we go. 2, 4, and 3, and 1, 6, and 7 on Veritude's side. Good amount of nature and light resources, but lagging way, way, way behind in terms of gold. Of course, Kangi not doing significantly better with only 2 in mana and 3 in light. Veritude brings out Elephant in front of the Elf and answers with Command Hunting of his own, dropping his own resources down to 1, 1, and 3. Is he going to charge up? He pretty much has to with his resources the way they are, and he does. That leaves 7 damage out onto the field, which will take Kangi down to the same amount of HP as Veritude himself has. So we assume Kangi doesn't really want to see that. Discards into nature. Is he building up for something else? Another discard into nature. He's building up for a tiger. He is. Out comes the tiger. Drops the attack value of the elephant down to 2. And the elf on the right hand side down to -3. Rendering that slot basically unusable for Veritude. Not ideal. Veritude, of course, would significantly prefer that elf to be killed instead of simply, attack value lowered and left on the field. A double charge up there goes into nature and discards a gold card, saving up for something for next turn, perhaps? Let's find out. Perhaps a leopard. Command Hunting -1 comes out. That will take care of that elephant, and the 8 damage from the tiger is going to come through. Ooh, a revival off Kangi, and that is going to take Veritude down. That is going to be fatal damage thanks to S's ability. That extra 1 damage does do the necessary. Kangi has emerged victorious in the second Arcadian Grand Global Tournament. He will walk away with 10 million gold. Congratulations, Kangi, and well played to Veritude there. Excellent fights. Excellent fights. So, as a celebration for Kangi's victory, we will do what we always do. Add the name onto the finals and then just make it super large. There we go. Kangi is the second Arcadian Grand Global Tournament champion. Carding Fire, says Morta. Yes, Carding Fire tournament. The plot twist is true! Yes, he managed to kill Veritude with a tiger, taking his revenge on Veritude for pulling basically exactly the same move on him in the last tournament. It actually happened. It actually happened. Damn, and the chat goes wild. Wow. Wow. Loser's bracket, shouts Neon, immediately wanting to get back into more fights. Bracket loser. Kangi's Revenge, yes. We should call this the second Arcadian Grand Global Tournament tagline, Kangi's Revenge. Happy faction on personal shop. Yay, next time add a spoiler tag. Yes. Next time you're going to be prophetic, yes, add a spoiler tag. Good job, good job. Wow. Wow, what a turnaround. What a turnaround. Okay, so there's 2 tournaments in a row where Kangi and Veritude have been up against each other. Veritude won the first one, Kangi won the second one. We're going to have a third tournament now, and they will both get into the finals again, and then that will determine who is the better of the both of them at last. Kangi is feeling too good, too good. Veritude, you kind of forgotten S's negative effect and thought you were safe from fatal. Yeah, that is a downside to S. It doesn't sound like much, that extra 1 damage, but it does rack up. It really does. I can't explain how good you're feeling, Kangi. That's fantastic. Well, you have won 10 million gold, so have fun with that. Yeah. And again, L has won, yes. Third tournament, we should ban Kangi and Veritude, yeah. So, somebody nerf Kangi and Veritude. Plot twist, they actually managed to tie during the third tournament. Yes, yes, that would be fascinating. I don't see how it's possible, but it could be fascinating. 10 million. 10 million gold. 10 million gold. Oh man, okay, good stuff. Alright, so that was actually surprisingly nice and short, despite the fact that we had the kerfuffle with the Axian Veritude not showing up. Daniel, next time we literally just finished this one. Do you have any idea how exhausting organizing these things is? We're not. We haven't scheduled any other tournaments. We will probably take a little month-long break from tournaments because people are starting exams, they're starting holidays, they're starting thesis writing. It's a very, very busy upcoming month for most people, and a lot of people are actually leaving. Which means that I would need to restructure the organization of how we organize the tournaments. Eva, I guess it's a good night. Well, not yet. A few people want a loser bracket, so everybody that lost in the quarterfinals and semifinals and so on and so forth, they can fight again. Daniel, thanks for organizing all these. I thoroughly enjoy them. I'm really happy you do. I mean, it's for the community. Just helps to bring everybody together. It gives them something fun to play. Next tournament, 20 million. Yes. The only reason Kangi made the finals is because you weren't competing, Lukaku. Yes, you're just going easy on them. Calpish's sweet revenge. Brown spent all the prize money on exotic dancers. So, well, you just have to give them to Kangi, won't you? Benasser, how can you join on Discord? You just downloaded it. I will send you the invite link right now. So this is the Discord link. You guys will see this before I'm speaking because of the way the lag works. But I've just posted the Discord link down below if everybody's interested in jumping into there. That's where we organize the tournaments, that's where we do our friendly battles, and that's where I announce all of the videos and sneaky little live streams that I may be doing on there. Next tournament would be in July, May, June, July. Yeah, so the next tournament will probably be in July, probably. The Grand Tournament number 3, Veritude's Reckoning. There's Grand Tournament number 4, the return of Kangi's Return, the Revenge. Grand Tournament number 5, Arcadean kills everyone. Lukaku, I promised last tournament that I'd beat Kangi next time I'd face him in a tournament, and I want to hold to it. Alright, well, you have a couple of months to practice. You struggle to have 100k, and don't we all? Morte, 10 million, my heart! Oh, my heart. Larsa, I do declare. Martin, to avoid the same final, let's just hope that Kangi and Vert are on the same bracket, so only one moves to finals. Yeah, I mean, when I was doing the brackets, I entered everything into a random number generator to determine where everybody would be placed, and Kangi and Veritude just weren't on the same side. Evil Bard, is there any special event you guys are doing? At the moment, we haven't got anything super planned, but there's been like a big demand today for me to do a special deck building live stream and for me to do a advanced tactics and strategies live stream. So I may do a sneaky live stream of those at some point during the week. Tiboa, next tournament again in final Veritude versus Kangi. Unfair, those players are overpowered. Yep, nerf Kangi, nerf Veritude. OP. Kangi and Veritude OP. Moss, you're looking forward to the deck building live stream. Nice. Morte, they're destined to clash against each other. Yes, the forces of light and the forces of darkness. Forever destined to engage in one another in mortal combat. Neon, and you're always first battle on tournaments. Yes, yeah, I don't know how that works out that way, but can't wish it was destiny. Yes. Vanessa done. Good. Excellent. Excellent. Good. Okay. Strategy stream. Hype. Yeah. Okay. I'll probably have to make some notes about that, honestly, because I've been playing for like 2 years now, so I forget what is advanced strategies and what isn't. Like today, I learned that almost nobody knows that whoever requests the friendly battle is the one that goes first, and I just kind of assumed that was general knowledge, just because, again, I've been doing this for 2 years, so I no longer know what is considered sort of intermediate or advanced strategy. So I will actually have a bit of a discussion about that on the Discord. Next talk of sub battles, we can Arc Khan finish him. Yes, who wants me to dress up like Khan from Mortal Kombat in the next live stream? That'd be big horned helmet and everything.
Finish him.
There we go. Brown, Kangi, check Discord PM. Yep, so Kangi, please check your Discord private messages. Brown will have sent you a message about getting your 10 million girls. Evil Bart, maybe next time you'll participate. That would be cool. Capish, they were with me whole tournament. The Forces of Light. You're the Forces of Light. Capish, you help newbies, yes, but you charge other people gems, so you're not really light, are you? Sloth, you vote for horn helmets. Awesome. I have a tinfoil hat I could do for now. That would be funny to see, yes.
Fatality.
Lukaku wants me to dress like Witch Xena. If I had a lab coat, that would be quite easy. I've got the glasses already. Okay, so, yes. Okay, so 2 votes. We have, let's do a quick chat vote here. Number 1, we can finish and move on to the Discord after tournament party. Or number 2, we can do loser bracket fights. So everybody who is in the tournament, and maybe some people who weren't, we can be a little bit cheeky about it. But if anybody, if anybody wants to see loser bracket fights, if anybody wants to see, like, Neon versus Gamer or Galliamir versus Sloth or something like that, chat. So do we finish here and go into Discord after party, or do we do some loser bracket stuff? Everybody vote. Arcor Samurai Quack, he's right here. Hello. Christian, why not dress up as Wegner? I think you mean Werner. Yeah, it's kind of, honestly, it's kind of the same outfit as Xena. Margin, no, dress like Dras and yell, hit the base, hit the base! Tibo, Arcadian versus Kangi. Brendan wants the loser brackets, Lukaku wants to fight. Lukaku is allowed into the loser brackets because he technically gave up his place to somebody? Who did you give up your place to, Lukaku? I forget now. Was it Yaxi? I think you gave up your place to Yaxi. Moth, you want to battle me? Kemerai wants the Discord party. Party. Evil Bot wants to see Arc versus everyone. Fair enough. Loser brackets, vote for the match you want. Says Neon. Yep, so... Alright, so the vote so far seems to be loser brackets. And it was Yaxi that you gave up your spot to. Okay, cool. Turned out not to be worthwhile, because it didn't even turn up for the quarterfinals. Wow. That's why I offered to take his place earlier today. If you'd submitted some decks, if you'd submitted 3 and registered 3 decks beforehand, then we would have done it, but... Danny, we want an Arc-friendly duel with the champion to finish the stream. I don't have a tournament deck. I obviously didn't create one. Sloth, does loser bracket mean using the same decks we sign up with? I don't know, what does everybody think? Should loser brackets be the tournament decks, or should loser brackets be any deck you like? Typical, Arcadean not playing tournament because he easily win. Probably not. I mean, these, Kangi, Veritude, Yellow Dragon, Snow Leopard, Jukisha, all of these people, these are really, really good duelists. Could probably kick my ass. I'm being honest with you. Could probably kick my ass. Tournament decks, says Neon. Tourney decks would make sense, says Christian. Okay, so loser brackets will feature tourney decks. Tipo is just really into this Kangi versus Arcadian thing. Tournament decks, tourney decks. Okay, alright, it'll be tourney decks. Okay, so we're going to have loser brackets with tourney decks. Because I think that'll be fun. Honestly, I mean, I'm perfectly happy to fight, obviously, but I'd prefer to let everybody else fight. I think it's sort of, it gives people sort of a better idea of different playstyles, different deck ideas, things that I just wouldn't think of, or playstyles that I can't play. You know, I'm not very good at particular playstyles. I try to build decks for them, but I'm not brilliant at some of them. So I think it's better for the community. But yes, I have been hearing recently that people do want to see me fight more. So I think we will actually set up like a proper live stream where we can do some, where I will actually do the fights. Bard, you're gonna sleep? Okay, thanks for stopping by the stream. See you on Discord. Margin, when you hear Duel, the first thing that comes to your mind is Neon. Yep. Neon, you're gonna use the third deck didn't use. Where's the ban list on the Discord? It's on Werner's Lab. It's the last post on the hashtag MD-Werner's Lab. Okay, so it looks like loser brackets and it looks like people want to do a tournament deck, so let's do that for a little while, shall we? Moth, you want to battle me with your Alpacat deck. Cool. Mini B should make Arc versus the World Tournament. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna have to like do some gravity training. It's sounding very much like a Dragon Ball Z thing. Knee live stream Arcadian battles. As I say, I'm hearing this more and more. I think we will actually set up a proper live stream thing. I don't want to make it boring. Because, you know, just be me using like the same couple of decks over and over and over and over and over again. So it's like, meh. It's not very interesting to watch for like 2 hours. But if I can think of like a good structure for it, if I can think of a good way of framing it that makes it interesting, then yeah, we'll do it. Daniel, you want to join, bud? Feel bad for using Tyron's statue without his permission. Scottish internet connection votes for Discord party. Well, it's okay on the Discord because, you know, if I crash, nobody notices. But, oh no, it survived. Yes. King of the Hill style. Okay. Anyway, let's do some loser brackets. All right. Let me get my pad of papers and my pen. I am assuming that Neon's up for a fight, so I'm just going to write his name down without even asking. Okay. So who wants to get involved with the in the loser brackets? Who wants to fight? Hands up. Majin Adel, speaking of Tyron hero card. Ark, what do you think if you make a deck around the fact that you boost Tyron hero's attack and protect him from spells? Would it work? Basically, I'll say what I always say when people talk about making combo cards. Anything in Mabinogi Duel that requires more than 2 steps is almost certainly doomed to failure. So the problem with the Tyron thing is that you would need to play Tyron, then you'd need to buff his attack somehow, then you would need to protect him from spells. So it's 3 plays, basically, you're making just to keep Tyron alive. Mini B, last time you fought Ark was when I helped you test the Beatrice deck. Yes. Jukisha's in. Okay, Luke's up for a fight. Mini B's up for a fight. Okay, so we'll put Jukisha, Luke versus Mini B. Okay, oops. Round of ink. Christian Claramunt, you would like to be in losers. Remind me of what your username is again. Yes, I know you well, Neon. I do. Moss, you gonna hop into the losers bracket? Okay, we've got to find another name for that. Losers bracket sounds bad. I mean, everybody did so well. I don't like calling anybody a loser. Nobody was a loser in this tournament. They all did fantastically. Brown, prize money has been handed over to Kangi. Nice, that was very fast. Excellent. Tibor, your 12 elephant deck, not very effective. You don't know why? I don't know why either. You know, you think that, it worked for Hannibal, right? Daniel, sign you up. Okie dokie. Daniel, righty ho. Doppelganger trauma much, yep. Nix, you're up for a battle. Okay, we'll let Nix in because much like Lukaku, he was scheduled to be in the tournament but then wasn't. Neon, thanks as always for sponsoring, Brown. Yes, I forgot to mention, but I really shouldn't have. A big thank you goes out to Brown for sponsoring this tournament because of him and his unflagging efforts to build, to get people to donate, and then donating some of his own gold to this tournament is that alone is the reason why we were able to give away a 10 million gold prize. So a super big thank you to Brown, and if anybody is interested in giving him a kind of a tangible thank you, please do send him gifts. It's to Buttsnuts, BUTZNUTZ, and his shop, if you want to go and donate some money basically by buying cards, is FRXA, so please do. And yes, once again, a very, very big thank you to Brown for just going above and beyond, really, for helping to sponsor out this tournament. Kangi, you're up. You don't get to play in the losers bracket, Kangi. You just won the tournament. Sloth Matthew, I didn't do well, but I think you picked a risky deck against Snow Leopard. You did well. I mean, don't need to feel bad about losing against Snow Leopard. Christ, I mean, the guy basically lives in the top 10. Yellow Dragon, Lukaku, I can take your place. Don't feel like fighting. I hadn't written you down anyway, Yellow Dragon. Tournament participants, fan battles. Yep. Second place receives no prize. Second place does receive a prize. Yes, I meant to make an announcement about that, and then I completely forgot. Let me see. Okay, so second place winner, Veritude, gets Seigi, Bluesy Floozy, and Aryabhata. They will be at 1-4 because they weren't able to be sealed. But yes, 3 cards, Seigi, Bluesy Floozy, and Aryabhata. Calpesh, as you remember. Tibor, don't tell me Dark Elephant doesn't exist, saving money for so long. No, Dark Elephant doesn't exist. Light Elephant exists, but not Dark Elephant. Moth, do you remember the match, though? Yeah, I do remember the match. Yeah, don't worry about it. Lost by the third turn. It doesn't matter. You did well. Again, the guy lived in top 10. You did well. Stop refusing to take that compliment. Nobody likes somebody who is overly self-critical, Moth. Especially when it's unnecessary. Okay, wonder what kept Yaxi from responding, but thanks to him you got the dual Leopard. Yeah, I don't really want to keep him from responding. But yes, that was an excellent fight. Okay, so far we have Neon versus Jukisha, Lucarcry versus Minibee, Moth versus Daniel, and Nyx versus somebody. Have I missed anyone? The chat is moving pretty quick, so if you volunteer to be get involved in this loser tournament, loser bracket, gotta find another name for it, then shout it out in the chat box so that I can write your name down, because we need somebody to fight Nyx. Maybe we should get Samurai Quack to do it. Yes. Maybe Chip Bluesy deck lockdown seems like a good frickin' deck idea. Yeah, it's a fairly standard deck. You saw it a lot when Bluesy was first out and about. You still see it now and again. Missed you, Reaper CC. Okie dokie. Oh no, I didn't miss you. I just asked for what your in-game name was because I forgot about it. But okay, Reaper CC has been added. Gallimir, have to use tournament decks? Yes, it has to be a tournament decks. Did all others in tournament win T-shirt with Arcadian's face? That sounds more like a punishment. Being made to wear my face on your chest all the whole time. If you're a lady, my face will be turned the other way. I apologize for that. Okay, we will move off the tournament thing then, and we'll move back onto this. All right, so first up is Neon versus Jukisha. We'll flip a coin, because why not, right? Whoop. It's tails. So, Jukisha, please send a battle request to Neon. Whew. I don't know about you guys, but I am exhausted now. Whew. I have a little nap. Well, Jukisha and Neon are both online, but there is no transitioning occurring. Wah, wah. Gallimir, don't forget my friend Daniela, she said you are cute. Yes, I appreciate that. Thank you, Daniela. Brown, you're off. Okay, thanks for stopping by. And again, thank you for sponsoring the tournament. It's made a massive, massive difference. Neon, ready and going. Okay, there we are. Good. Arcadean still not added you, and you sent me 15 crystals. Yes, I need you to actually... I keep talking to you about this, Tibor. You need to actually tell me your exact in-game name. I can't add you if I don't know it. Neon up at the top with the S-Hero and 1 mutant. Jukisha down the bottom with the Sarah Hero and 2 mutants. Drops a Forest Keeper Imp, which is immediately answered by a Holy Missile. Drops another Leopard. How will Neon answer this one? I could answer it in a number of ways, actually. I have to remember that these are tournament decks as well. I keep thinking Hunt will do, but then no, it's not okay. Elephant comes out in front of that Leopard. That will, of course, kill the Leopard before the Leopard can deal with the Elephant, thanks to S's ability. But the Command Hunting comes out, takes care of the Elephant, and thanks to S's negative side of her ability, that's 3 damage rather than 2. Neon decides to level up, and I assume Jukisha is about to follow suit. Yep. Your in-game name is N0B. Okay, N0B. I will add you right after this. I didn't reject you. I don't reject anybody. Well, I mean, I reject people who I honestly don't know. But if you'd sent me a thing, I would have added. But sometimes there's a glitch with friends lists, and things just don't. The requests don't go through. Both people need to send each other friend requests for some reason for it to happen. Aurelius Clover, which is always fascinating to see, comes out and it takes care of the creature in the center. I think it was a Leopard with a Command Hunting. Down it goes. That is drained. Neon works his resources down to 0. In a lot of cases, ouch. Out comes our Paralyzing Bullet, and that does deal with Ignis, leaving Clover feeling very alone. He's so rare, so rare. Out comes a mana vampire +1 to drain Relius Clover's HP. That will, of course, allow the vampire to kill the Relius next turn if Neon doesn't deal with the vampire. But with only light resources in hand, the only way you can really hope to do that is by dropping a light command hunting, which, of course, is not a very common card. So let's see how he decides to go. Ugh, I don't want to drink any more of that arc juice. That's bad batch of arc juice. So I'm going to drink coconut water. Tibbo, you sent requests for Arcadean maybe 3 times, ever rejected. It's not rejected. It doesn't get delivered to me. Sometimes when you send a friend request to someone, it doesn't deliver. I don't know why. But we've seen it a lot during this tournament where people were trying to send each other friend requests and it wasn't coming through. I will add you after this tournament, don't worry about it. So Neon Works levels up to 3 and Jukisha follows suit. Both players have switched across to a defensive footing now. Let's see who is the first one to snap and go aggressive. Daniel, you can't change your submitted decks. No, can't change your submitted decks. Has to be one of your 3 tournament decks. Tibble, Vita cocaine. No. It's coconut water. Okay, both players still playing very, very defensively. Neon with 23 and Jukisha with 32. I quite like that. The numbers are reversed. Ah, I ruined it by reviving. No longer has that awesome symmetry to it. Elf comes out onto the field and Jukisha charges up. Neon works his turn. Can answer that Elf with a drag to hell. Okay, so decent counter to that, but of course it prevents him now from bringing out that Relius Clover again, not that he would necessarily want to. Ragnar the Blood Edge coming out at level 3, which is quite interesting. Generally, you see him as more of an aggro tempo card, very good to bring out at level 1, level 2, that kind of thing, to put a lot of pressure onto your opponent early on. But bringing out at level 3, interesting, bold choice. Let's see if it pays off. Moth, do we already have an order for these loser fights? Yeah, we gotta find a different name. Yes, we do. It's Neon now versus Jukisha. Obviously, ouch. Out comes Hibiki, just lays into Ragnar. As Neon versus Jukisha, then Lukaku versus Minibi, then Moth versus Daniel, then Nyx versus Reaper CC. Out comes a Paralyzing Bullet, and that puts Ragnar the Blood Edge to sleep. Sleep being a euphemism for death. I do love coconut water. Okay, comes from growing up on a desert island probably, but still, I love coconut water. Neon works his turn. He's got to deal with that Hibiki, which only has 10 HP, of course, so it's not a big threat. The Vampire comes out, drains off Hibiki's health, and Susano comes out. That is good. At level 3, that will, of course, kill the Hibiki now, will charge itself up. Ensuring that on Neon Works' next turn, Susano will have 3 energy, because he gains 1 energy at the beginning of every turn. Tibbo, Kangi, you wanna buy my green elephant for 10 million? Nick Stalker, I don't know how to pronounce that. ¿Cuál es la regla en estas sub-battles? Christian Reaper CC has sent Nyx a friend request. Jukisha summons a vampire, which drains Susano's HP down. Will he capitalize on that by casting a removal spell now, is the big question. He does. Out comes the command hunting, but it takes care of the other vampire because the vampire drains Susano's HP down so low. So this actually is quite interesting. So Susano can't kill either one of these creatures because he'll only deal 9 damage to the opposing battlefield, but he will deal 9 damage to the opposing battlefield, plus the 11 that he's about to deal to the vampire, plus the extra 3 that he's going to deal thanks to S's special ability. Kangi, sorry guys, can anyone let Bryant know that I'm having internet problems in mobile? Yes, okay, so Minibi, Kangi is having problems. We've been told to tell you. Galimir is talking in a language I do not speak. Okay, so down goes that vampire, and Susano gets another charge, ensuring once again that he's going to be up at 3 energy, provided Jukisha can't stop him. But it looks like he may not be able to. Maybe, though, discarding into mana. Are we going to see a Firebolt? Another discard into mana. And it is a Firebolt. Boom, down it goes. And that is the end of Susano. But that was a very, very expensive removal on Jukisha's side. Nevertheless, that is Neon down at almost half of Jukisha's HP. So needs to do something pretty serious now. Next, nice Spanish. Are you mocking me? Because it would be justified. I can sing a song in Spanish. El perro es mi corazón. El gato no es bueno. Arcadean es cantante. Arcadean es muy famoso. Arcadean es el hombre con el queso del diablo. I apologize for that. Okay, so Neon decides not to deal with that Leopard, and Jukisha revives from the grave. Does a little bit of damage, of course, but so it goes. Charges up. And will he play something aggressively, or is he going to just try to regain as much resource parity as possible? He's going to try to regain the resource parity. The Leopard does 8 damage, thanks to his negative ability. And let's see. Christian, nice song. Thank you so much. Kalpesh, your college Wi-Fi doesn't work on mobile. Oh, that sucks. Maybe it's a security thing. They may not want to risk any viruses or anything getting onto the network. 'Twas good. Thank you, Lukaku. Okay, Neon's turn. He's really got to deal with that Leopard, or he's going to go down, or it is going to deal fatal damage to him. He does have enough for a Drag to Hell, but chooses instead to go for Aurelius Clover. Bold choice. Let's see if it pays off. Why do I have the Devil's Cheese? I don't know. I had a girl once tell me that it should be Beso del Diablo, and I thought that was very flattering, but no, it's queso. So, for those of you who don't know, Beso is kiss. Okay, so Aurelius in front of that Leopard. If Jukisha can remove it, then no problems. And he does have enough nature to potentially bring out a command hunting. Let's see. Galimir, you were explaining to Nix he must use a deck made for the tournament, and OMG, singing in Spanish, awesome. I forget what Spanish for thank you is, so I'm going Italian instead. Grazie. Paralyzing Bullet comes out, and that damages Aurelius Clover, but of course doesn't quite kill it. I'm so tense. I'm actually eating my coconut water. Okay, so it doesn't quite kill, and Ignis and Aurelius Clover do all their charge up stuff, and down goes the Leopard. The Aurelius and the Ignis, of course, a good combination if you can keep them alive on the battlefield. So that is pretty nice. That's going to be 15 damage coming out onto Jukisha there. A lot of damage. Very painful. Chunt won't be enough. You've got to stop calling it chunt, Lukaku. It sounds so rude. Spanish is gracias. Gracias, amigo. I assume. How do you forget gracias? Because I have like 18 languages in my head, Sloth. That's how I forget gracias, okay? I have thank you, I have arigato, I have gracias, I have grazie, I have danke, and so on and so forth. It's bizarrely difficult to shunt your brain between different languages. I mean gracias, yes, thank you. Gracias. Hey, another Susano. Chunt is pretty funny. Chunt, it sounds like a Scottish swear word. It sounds like a Scottish curse word. I mean, I can absolutely imagine a Glaswegian strolling up to somebody on the street and going, "Hey, you little chunter." So, yeah, you like chunt. Stop calling it chunt. I'm so Glaswegian. Jukisha charges now. Susano is going to kill the Ignis and the Aurelius with this, so this is going to be pretty brutal for Neon to have to deal with. Bang and bang. So much energy for that Susano. Charges up nice. It's going to give him 4 energy on the next turn. So, Drag to Hell comes out though, a light Drag to Hell, and that does knock that Susano down. So well countered by Neon works there, and an aggressive Elephant comes out onto the field, and Neon charges up, which does give Sarah a little bit of HP. Teaching Espanol to Arcadean. Yes. Gracias. You mean to chunt your mind between different languages? No, I don't mean to chunt my mind. It doesn't even work because it's supposed to be Command Hunt. Spain, no playing World Hockey Cup. Know only how to play football. Okay. I don't follow sports. This is very close. It is indeed, yes. Very, very close between Jukisha and Neon works here. So tense. Neon discards a green. Are we going to see a Command Hunter come out? We are. Down goes that Forest Keeper Imp. And the Elephant is left out onto the field. So there's going to be 2 more turns before that Elephant can land the finishing blow, and Jukisha can't finish Neon in less than 2 turns either, because 1 turn to play and then 1 turn to potentially deal fatal damage. So both players exactly the same HP, very close in terms of resources. Neon Works currently has battlefield control with the elephant, but it is just one elephant, so it's not stable battlefield control. Wow, Jukisha just gonna let that happen. Neon revives from the grave in order to activate Sarah's ability, which of course lowers her HP. Neon finishes the match with an elephant, or however that goes, and boom. Down it goes. Well played to both players there. That was a real ding-dong back-and-forth match. Real knockabout. Typical Arcadean, no sports fan, only playing card games. I play a lot of games. I do a lot of stuff outside. I just don't like sports. I don't like... I'm not a big fan of rules, basically. Somebody says, oh, you have to do this, and offside rules, and kicking, and free throws, and da-da-da. And I think, shut up and give me the ball. It's boring, and all these rules. Just give me the ball, try to get into the other thing. I mean, football used to be between two villages, and you could kill anybody between you and the other village. It was so much more fun. Very nice fight between Neon and Jukisha there. Very, very back and forth. Very, very close. Good game, good game. Next up is Lucarcry versus Minibi. So, when you guys are ready, please comment in the chat. And then send each other a battle request. In fact, don't send each other battle requests. I will flip a coin. Heads, it's Luke. Tails, it's Minibi. It is heads. Lucarcry, please send Minibi a battle request. Daniel, my opinion about DevCat. I don't know. It's difficult to tell where DevCat begins and Nexon ends, kind of thing, or vice versa. And a lot of the original DevCat team, apparently, I have been told, this may not be true, but apparently I've been told they have been replaced. I like what they do in general. I think they are doing their best, but it did become a little bit more pay-to-win focused when Nexon started taking a real hand in things. So I don't really like that side of things. That being said, Mabinogi Duel is, of course, a phenomenal game, and there is a lot of work that goes into it. Constant updates, constant events, constant this, constant that. So it's still a very, very good game, and I think DevCat does more good than bad. I would like to see a little less focus on trying to squeeze money out of our pockets, but hey, it's a business. They gotta do what they gotta do. Moth, you're after the Luca Minibi fight, right? Yes, you are. You're against Daniel. Luke, I'm going to like your deck. Does it have Warlords? Morte, opinion on Vectis Prime. I like it, but you've got to get the mod that reduces the magazine size down to 1. Ah, thought you could catch me out, but you can't. Also, you can get 100% status on Vectis Prime, which is always hilarious. Hermit Share comes out, which is fantastic. Always love to see Hermit Share. I always love to see Share, in fact, in general. Jukisha didn't expect to make it to Snow Leopard, so you're pretty happy. You should be very happy. You did really well. You won every single fight up to the Snow Leopard fight, Jukisha. That is not a small feat. That is very, very good. And yay! We're seeing the beginning of the Warlords. Tarka comes out onto the field. Haha. I do love Tarka. While she's in the center of the field, of course, she is protected from targeted spells. Now, unfortunately, with the advent of cards like command hunting and so on and so forth, the Warlords, again, have their problems. But I still love the Warlords. Still love them to bits. Minibi, Shet. Okay. Alright, so Lucarcry's turn. I assume a level up. But he's thinking about it. There we go. That was a level up. And Tarka does the pow. Also, if anybody plays Black Desert Online, they're releasing the Striker in 6 days. So, Warlords in Black Desert Online. Yay! I'm so happy. Okay, so that elephant continues to hammer into that Hermit Share, which is just, it's a shame for the Hermit Share. Poor little lady. Command Hunting comes out, and that would be a perfect time to play down Shurka if Lucarcry had it. But chooses not to, goes instead for a charge up instead. And now Minibi is in a really awkward position. Level up and let Hermit Share transform, which of course would be death, or deal with the Hermit Share in some way and not level up and let Lucarcry take a big advantage here. Ambush comes out and that will take care of both. Minibi choosing not to level up. This does, of course, still give Lucarcry 2 actions, and Minibi at some point has to level up, which is, in a way, a little bit of a wasted action. Depleted Reload Mortar. Yes, that's the one. Thank you. Cocoon Trap comes out and snags the Shurka. That's a little unfortunate. Lorna coming out on the far right-hand side. That's going to be painful to take that 7 damage. But Minibi really doesn't have a choice. Has to level up. The Lorna is going to deal damage and cause some problems. Daniel would like Moth to know that he is Magnum Opus, which is basically exactly how it sounds. Magnumopus, just in case. Snake Tamer Nicholas comes out and summons a red tiger skin snake, which is always one of the better ones to summon. You really want one of those disappear and does something snakes to come out. Not the Habu snake, and sometimes even the giant snake can be a bit of a problem if it comes out. And an elf on the far right-hand side. So Mini-B really just laying down the defenses here. Lucarcry's turn. Let's see what he wants to do about it. Command Hunting comes out. That's going to take care of Nicholas. Bye-bye, Nicky. And he's got 2 more actions to do. Let's see. Paralyzing Bullet comes out. That's going to damage the elf enough that the Lorna can kill it. And Lucarcry chooses to charge up for his 3rd turn, trying to maintain as much of a resource parity as possible. Down goes the elf. Lorna's still out onto the field. Vampire Count Bronte comes out. Interesting. And the snake hammers into that cocoon, but the cocoon transforms back into Shurka, who is now a 10-22. So once again, we're seeing another cocoon transformation. The second time we've seen that happen today. Revive from the grave. Are we about to see a removal spell? A light command hunting? We are. Out comes a light command hunting. Down goes Bronte, and that is game as Lorna lands a finishing blow on Mini-B. Well played to Mini-B, and congratulations to the Lucarcry. Good game to both of you. Well played. Oh, and I forgot to add Tibor. So before we do the Moth and Daniel fight, I'm just going to add that. Warlord Jenkins! Except they didn't land the finishing blow. So, and there's no chickens. So it's also sad. Epic victory. Finish him. Okay, so who can I remove to add noob very quickly? I'm going to have to remove Thrust. You've been gone for 10 days. I'm sorry if you are watching. I apologize. If you would like me to add you to my friends list again, Thrust, you send me another message and I will do so. And now I will add noob. So it's N-O-0... capital O, apparently. Capital O, 0, and then capital B. Okay, so it's N-O-0-B. I have been told. I'm sending the friend request. Okay. That seems like it just automatically added. So, Tibawa, we are now friends. Okay. Alright. Took 3 Deakin turn to fix that mistake. Okay, so Magnum Opus says, add me again, please, Moth. Guess he missed you. Good game. Dropped command hunting nature instead of that cocoon. What? And Tibawa, you're very welcome. Okay, so yes, Moth and Magnum Opus, you guys need to send each other friend requests again. So, Magnum Opus, you can send Sloth a request. Well, Sloth Moth. He's Sloth Lord, as you can see, 3 down on the screen right now, just as it's spelled. Oh, do we flip a coin? Yes, of course we do. Neon, gotta go. You have a workshop tomorrow, so you guys in chat. Okay, thanks for... Whoopsie daisy. Thanks for coming by, Neon, and getting involved. And we'll see you in Discord. What is that? That is Tails. Okay, so it is Magnum Opus. Magnum Opus, please send Sloth a battle request. Brave Turtle, can Mabinogi Duel be played free-to-play? Because you'd love to play it, but you have not the money to pay for it at the moment. Yes, it can be played free-to-play. I am a free-to-play player. I don't pay money on it. I did to begin with, but I disagree with the business decisions they've made over the last few months, so I don't pay them any money anymore. But yes, you can definitely be a free-to-play player. Morte is also fighting. Maybe we should spectate her. Of course it can, says Lucar. There's not really any of course it can about it. Some of these games, it's not really possible to be free to play. Hearthstone, for example, if you want to actually get into tournaments and things like that, you can't really be a free-to-play player. You're not going to be able to get up into the top rankings with a free-to-play deck. Not unless you've been playing from the very beginning. Was it Tails? No, Magnum Opus, you need to send the battle request to Moth. No, cries Morte. Too late, Morte! We've seen everything! We're judging you. Look after the very good players here that never invested even a cent in the game. Yep, true. Moth, still waiting for the battle invite. Yes, he is supposed to start, yes. Magnum Opus, you need to send the battle request to Moth. Yeah. Because of the coin flip, just because the way it works. If you're using the S hero, that gives you the advantage. Ah, here we go. Oh no, I accidentally clicked on Morte. Okay, Magnum opens up the top with the L hero and no mutants, and a Sloth down the bottom with the L Lysis hero and 2 mutants. Both players running Mana and Dark, Magnum running Light, and Sloth running Nature. Oh, interesting. Okay, so an Elf comes out, which is immediately answered by Hidden Trap, a very unusual card. Generally do not see that, but cool. That does, of course, counter the Elf, and a Cell Soul from Magnum Opus. Interesting, going from 1 Dark to 3, and not costing him any health because he was at 1 resource when he cast it. Imp comes out on the left-hand side. Both Imp and Elf, very worn cards, Sloth. Very, very dirty cards. Magic Missile comes out and takes care of the Imp. Both players now ready to level up to level 2. Both more or less equal in terms of resources and more or less equal in terms of HP. Moth levels up and Magnum Opus follows suit. Brave Turtle, cool. Besides, love your vids. Keep up the great work. Thank you. I appreciate that very much. And yep, I'll keep making videos and doing live streams as long as you guys keep watching them. Morte, Duel just ended. You can't shame me. Ho, 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 ho. Well, I will instead shame you for your manly laugh. Okay, Santa? Sloth always uses 1-out cards. Sloth, you have the reputation of being slovenly, apparently. A discard from Sloth into Nature, but no cards being played. Both players switch to a defensive tempo now. Let's see who is going to get aggressive first. It's Magnum Opus, who brings out a Dark Fairy Yomi, which is snagged by a Cocoon Trap. Interesting. Interesting. And out comes Izanami. Her HP does not fall below 1 for 3 turns. Izanami, solid choice for the tournament because there's no capture, there's no Casanova's Mask or anything like that, no betrayal. Nothing basically that makes Izanami not so great, basically. So I'm honestly surprised we didn't see more Izanami in the tournament, really. She fits quite nicely. Let's see. Let's see. Sloth is in a bit of an awkward situation here because she's immortal. It's really obviously very, very difficult to remove her. Her HP won't fall below 1 for 3 turns. Now, she can be removed with a Drag to Hell because her immortality doesn't cover that kind of thing, doesn't cover non-damage based stuff, but Command Hunting won't work. Fireball won't really work. Ambush, all this kind of stuff won't really work. So Fireball rather, comes out and takes care of that Cocoon. Izanami still out there on the field. Let's see how Sloth chooses to answer it. Is it Sloth or is it Moth? You don't know how she works. She's basically just for 3 turns her health can't fall below 1, and if there's an enemy creature on the field with a higher HP value than her, she will switch HPs with it. So yeah, that skeleton just got murdered, but it was going to be murdered anyway because Izanami had the had 7 attack. So, Lukaku, you got to get going. See you later. Okie dokie. Bye. Thanks for stopping by the stream. Ooh, ouchie. That's ooh wow. Okay, Shield Sword of Sharfa, which again don't really see, but if he's got a removal spell for the skeleton, this is going to really sting. Yeah, he does have a removal spell for the skeleton. This is going to hurt. That is half of Moth's health gone in one shot there. Booyah. That is painful. I remember I did a video actually where somebody used, I think it was either the Shield Sword of Sharfa on me or it was the Sword of Jarka. But either way, that can really just surprise bump up the damage on a card. Crispy combo, yes. Crispy. Like fried chicken. Done in a honey marinade glaze. I'm hungry though. Okay, so Sloth levels up. Now, Izanami, of course, generally a very easy creature to deal with. Nightmare comes out, steals Izanami's HP, but of course, Izanami's just going to switch HPs with the Nightmare now. Sloth says, you're making me angry. Great Sword Jaraka comes out. That takes Izanami up to 18 attack value. And the boosted Izanami lands the finishing blow on Sloth. Fantastic. Good lord. Is this Sloth or is it Moth? You lied to me. No, I didn't. I said just the card in front of it. Did I? I didn't mean to. Worst one is a Hanged Clown 1 turn. Yeah, the Dark Mud Defender Dross or the Mud Hero Puger Hanged Clown combo. Yeah. Yes. Shield Sword works well with Bajang too. Yeah, Shield Sword is honestly surprisingly good with a lot of various combinations. If you can get an opening, that can deal some really surprise major damage. Major damage. So yes, if I did say in front of the creature, I apologize, Moth. I didn't mean to say that. I don't know why I would have said that. Because it's not on her thing. She steals the HP of any creature that's higher than her. Has more HP than her. Or the highest HP enemy creature. Anyway, great game. Wahahaha, yes. Well, it wouldn't have made any difference, Moth. Anyway, even if it was only for the creatures in front, you would still have died to that combo regardless. So yes. Just as a surprise cards. I do enjoy seeing those surprised cards coming out. Those are bizarre decks, but a lot of fun. Okay, next up is Nyx Stalker versus Reaper CC. So let's see. We do have a Reaper CC. I should also have Nyx Stalker on my list, but it doesn't appear to be online. Either that or my friends list. It's on this thing where it deletes people randomly for no good reason again. Anyway, Nyx Stalker versus Reaper CC. So let me just flip this coin. Whoop. It is heads. Okay, so Nyx Stalker, please send Reaper CC a battle request. Nyx Stalker, please send Reaper CC a battle request. Okay. Nyx not online yet. Yeah. So I see her. If Nyx doesn't appear online in a couple of minutes, then somebody else can take his place. How about Morte? You seem to be more active right now. Then we can all judge you. Yes. Kidding. No judgment here. It's all about having fun. Nobody's judging your skill levels. I've got coconut water all over my hands. Nyx Stalker's just popped up online. Good. No peas, says Morte. Whippy, fun battle now. Yeah, we're basically doing loser brackets. Everybody who like dropped out of the tournament or who lost their fights is doing a fight right now. But we've just finished now. But yes, so Whippy, if you would like to fight somebody and somebody else wants to fight you, let's go for it. Morte, yep, I know fun. Okay, that's a little weird. Spectate, good. Good playing, everyone. You have to go start learning how to hack mobile devices to steal Kangi's prize. Good luck with that, Moth. Nyx Stalker up at the top with L and 3 mutants. Reaper CC down the bottom with L and 2 mutants. An aggressive elephant, which Reaper is choosing to ignore, and plays a Forest Keeper Imp on the left-hand side, which is immediately answered by a dark magic missile, and down it goes. Elephant deals some damage to a Reaper CC, and is answered in turn by a dark vampire. Good lord, that coconut water just went down the wrong way. Oh, it tastes weird now. Ugh. Fireball comes out, takes care of the vampire. Elephant gets another 2 damage off onto a Reaper CC. And Nyx Stalker now ready to level up to 2. Reaper CC not quite there yet. Reaper plays a defensive elephant in front of Nyx's elephant, which is quite interesting because, of course, it won't kill the enemy elephant without some removal spells. Nyx Stalker levels up and Reaper CC follows suit. Elephants continue to hammer away at each other. Oh no, they will do some damage because it weakened earlier, was it? My bad. You're in my friend's list, didn't see it. Sorry, that was good. Okay, Nyx charges up and plays the special edition skeleton. Always love that artwork. Great artwork. And it's Reaper's turn. He plays Lychee, who pops in front of the elephant, kills it, pops back in front of the skeleton, and deals a significant amount of damage to that. The skeleton, of course, will kill the Lychee, except nope, down it goes with a magic missile. Reaper CC playing very aggressively here against Nyx Stalker, using up a lot of resources in order to gain battlefield control as early as possible. Let's see, down, wow, okay, down they go to Hikaru's Shuriken. Bye-bye to those two, and Nyx Stalker resurrects a card from the grave, which of course hurts both players, thanks to L's ability. Skeleton comes out on Reaper CC's side, and he charges up, trying to maintain a resource parity. And it's Nyx Stalker's turn. Once again, both players more or less equal in terms of HP, and Nyx Stalker lagging slightly behind in XP. In HP rather, and Nyx Stalker lagging slightly behind in HP. Dragon Hunter Frey Nature variant comes out. Interesting. That's going to deal some damage to the skeleton and bounce the arrow into a Reaper CC. Let's see. Moth, for real, you're off now. Good playing, everyone. Yes, well played. Sloth, thanks for turning up and playing in the tournament yesterday. And we'll see you on Discord. Vampire Miner +1 comes out, is immediately staggered by a cocoon. Unfortunate for Reaper CC, not going to be able to get that health drain that he was hoping for. The skeleton does manage to deal 6 damage to Nick's Stalker, though. Let's see. Daniel, I just focused playing through the masterclass. A high down placed beside your name looks cool to you. Yep, it's fun. I don't do the master duels personally because I get exhausted when I think about the amount of effort you have to put into it, and then it gets, your rank gets erased at the end of the month. It's like, I don't want to do that. I'm inherently lazy. Okay, so the cocoon is still out onto the field, but of course that's not really going to be given the opportunity to transform. It's probably a bit too much to hope for that we see a third cocoon transformation occur. Fireball comes out, takes care of the Black Spirit. Still leaves the Fry out onto the field, of course, but Reaper CC does have a decent amount of mana and nature, and 2 more actions left. He uses one of those actions to charge up. It goes into darkness, which balances out quite nicely, and charges up a 3rd time, which goes into nature, boosting that up to a healthy 6. Nyx discards into nature. Are we going to see a command hunting? Charge, which also goes into nature. And no, we're going to see an elephant come out. That's interesting. Daniel, Ark, how do you like Lilith? She's good. She's good. She's very good anti-gimmick, obviously. If somebody brings out Gates of Hell, then you're fine. You just wait for them to do that, and then you bring out Lilith. She works out really well next to Nedova. That's always cool. She's very, very expensive, though, and she doesn't do a lot of damage on her own behalf, really. She's very easy to counter once she's out, so you're really using her for her hypnosis effect. But she's good. She's solid. I like her. Okay, so Lychee comes out, kills the weakened creature, and jumps in front of the elephant, pushing the cocoon out into the open. Will it actually survive? Let's see. Shadow Vampire comes out, drains a little bit of HP. That is going to be enough for the elephant to kill the Lychee, and there goes the Fireball to kill the cocoon. And Gimmick also says Mini B and Cheng Li. Yeah, Lilith is one of those interesting cards. I'm not sure if I call her Gimmick, personally. I call her Combo, definitely. Possibly Pseudo Gimmick, but there are a lot of answers to her. So I'm not sure if I personally consider her Gimmick, but I know that a lot of people do. Vampire comes out, drains some of the HP off the Shadow Vampire. But that leaves the elephant, of course, free and clear to deal some damage. Let's see how this goes, though. The vampire, all things being equal, will be able to kill the Shadow Vampire before it kills him. But a removal spell could be problematic for Reaper CC, because that 6 damage is nothing to scoff at. Let's see. So, the vampire does a little bit of damage to the Shadow Vampire, puts it within kill range of the vampire's attack value. Let's see if Nick Stalker decides to remove that vampire, or if he is going to just let the Shadow Vampire die. He's thinking about it. He decides to charge, and it goes into darkness, which balances that out a little bit better. Command Hunting comes out. That's going to take care of the elephant in front of Nick Stalker's own elephant. So 5 damage coming through. That's going to take Reaper CC down to 8. And a discard into mana, which is quite interesting. Free summon, possibly? Or possibly building up towards a Firebolt removal spell for the next turn. Let's see. Let's see. Reaper CC goes into dark. Hellhound comes out, kills the Shadow Vampire, freeing up the Vampire on Reaper CC's side to deal some hefty 7 damage onto his opponent. Down it goes. And Nick Stalker down at 5 HP now. Absolutely needs to deal with both the Hellhound and the Vampire somehow in order to ensure that he doesn't take fatal damage next turn. With 4, 1, and 5, he can do it. It is possible to have cards in those camps with that level of resources that can remove those 2 cards, but difficult and extremely draining. So let's see how he decides to go here. Daniel, Ark, do you find it entertaining how you see something close to a zoo due to the leopards and elephants everywhere? Yeah. I mean, we see a lot of elves and imps as well. So if it's a zoo, it's like a fantasy zoo. It's like a zoo run by elves and imps and things who think that elephants are really, and leopards are like really, really super exotic. Like, look what we've stolen from the humans. A charge and a discard. Firebolt comes out. That's going to take care of the Hellhound. Interesting. Okay, so Nick Stalker just basically spitting in the face of death, I suppose. Reaper CC charges up. Are we going to see a sportsmanlike finish? 3 charges? Let's find out. Charges up. Charges up. Sounds like a 3rd charge. And there's the 3rd charge. A sportsmanlike finish on Reaper CC side, landing the finishing blow against Nick Stalker. Very, very close fight there. As you can see, Reaper CC down to 3 HP, managing to take the victory off Nick Stalker. Congratulations to Reaper CC on the victory, and well played to both players. Very good game. Very good game. Okay, and that is the last of the loser bracket battles. Congratulations to all the winners and well played to all the fighters. That goes away now. Okie dokie. I think we will finish there for the day then. I think everyone's pretty exhausted after the tournament. A lot of people have just kind of stumbled off to bed, and understandably so. So that is the end of the tournament. Congratulations to Kangi for not only beating Veritude, but beating him using the card that Veritude used to seize victory in the last tournament. I think we're going to see a lot more tigers in the next tournament. So congratulations to Kangi for taking the 10 million gold after tax prize, and congratulations to Veritude for getting into 2nd place and getting the Seigi, Bluesy Floozy, and Ariabata cards, I think it was. And also congratulations to everybody who participated in the tournament. Win or lose, you all played extremely well, and frankly, it's just great that you guys got involved. I mean, it's a very stressful experience doing a live, tournament battles and things like that. It takes a certain amount of guts, so good on you. Good on you. Alright, so everybody, back to Discord for a post-thingamabobber, post-tournament party. Anybody who is interested, I have posted the Discord link down below. Please do stop by and get involved in the chats. I suspect that the party is going to be pretty much congratulations from everybody. It's really tiring. But that's it for this live stream. So I will see everybody in Discord. Thanks to everyone who stopped by to watch. You really helped make this tournament a big show, which is always fantastic. Special thank you to everyone who got involved in the tournament itself. And congratulations once again to all the participants, especially Kangi and Veritude. So that's it for this live stream. Tune in next Sunday, 3 p.m. GMT +1, and we will go back to our standard format. And get involved on the Discord, because I may very well be doing some extra live streams for deck building and for advanced strategies and tactics. So jump into the Discord to find out when I will be doing those. Alright, but that's it for me. I will see some of you hopefully in the Discord, and for the rest, see you next week. Until next time, have fun and good luck.